Yes. Anyway, welcome back, folks, and hello to everybody that's already in the chat.
Sup?
Yes, Pat is back for the people that were talking before. He's here. He should be here for the rest of today.
Well, at least he's here with us in spirit.
Yeah. I mean, based on the fact that Jake is his ride, he'll probably be here.
Chances are.
More often than not, he'll be here the whole time. Although that one time Jake was his ride and he went to sleep somewhere because he was dying.
Yeah.
Oh.
After 21 hours.
21 hours.
He made it most of the way.
Mostly. Couldn't champion all the way through.
Champion fighter.
Next time.
Well, there may not be a next time. Maybe there will be.
Hard out.
Maybe. We'll see.
Hard no.
Ah, you say that now.
Yeah.
What about like a 20 hour?
You'll probably say that later.
18.
He might, but...
18. I'll do 18 hours. That's a lot of hours.
You're right. It's
enough hours.
No, it's not for our 24-hour stream.
It's true. I'm not... Okay, I didn't want to do this one. I didn't want to do the first one.
It's true.
I said a hard no, and you guys kept talking like
That's
I didn't say
wild.
hard no.
We might do the same thing
for
the second time.
Yes, but now I don't feel as bad saying like hard no. I'm not doing it.
I know, but
What's
I
your
feel
character
like
gonna do?
Nah.
if we make you, you're gonna.
No. Hard
You
no.
say that.
Hard no.
We'll
I'll do 18.
see.
I'll do 18 hours.
Plus 6, good.
No, I
What
won't
if-
do.
What if after 18 hours you get a plus 6 great axe that does 2d12?
You should
What
be
if
a
I
bar
have to take a
a
power
barbaric
nap in
cleric.
between?
That's what you should be.
Hard
with
no.
that.
Barb cleric?
Barbaric cleric.
No.
We'll just get
Our
Selena
player-
to come
Hard no.
for 24 hours.
She can do it. It's fine.
I'll give it a try.
Eldritch
Do or
Blast
do
him.
not. There is no try.
Yeah.
It's true.
In 24 hours.
Like I'll do it. It'll be rough, but I'll do
That's
it.
okay.
I don't
It's
know
not
if I'd
like
want to
it's
do it
easy
again.
for us.
No, I know. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to do it again,
Hard
but
no.
I'd give it a try.
I was so grouchy at the end.
It was brutal.
Remember what we
You
talked
were.
Remember what we talked about before?
Yeah.
And Sean is grouchy without sleep.
Mhm.
Need sleep.
He
He's
does.
so grouchy without
Most
sleep.
people
Need
are.
sleep.
See,
I'm not.
me either. Sean gets... But
Depends.
It's, you know...
Sounds nice, guys.
Pat just he can't. He's like he just can't. He can't maintain.
Tell us
It goes
about
too far without-
your sleeping patterns and feelings without sleep, Internet.
I
Can
just
you
get
do it?
Frustrated a lot more.
Can you
easily.
do that, Internet? Can you go
Sean
without
too.
sleep? Can you do a 24-hour stream? Let us know right now while I continue the intro for real this time.
Here we go.
So, a couple of announcements. Itbill's
Sorry,
character
intro.
is back for real this coming tomorrow at 10 p.m. It will be Guts from Berserk. Friday night at twitch.tv/exploding dice at 9 p.m. Eastern is part 2 of our 2-part D&D World Series qualifying round. We made it through the first round, although there was a disintegration within the first half an hour. Thankfully,
Oops.
we had some wonderful donations to pull him back into the game, which was good because probably would have been a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Although we still didn't have any AoE. Made a cleric and a bard. You make sense of that, Internet. So come see how we do. I have a good feeling we're gonna win. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting because of our creative problem solving in the first go round, and the fact that the bard came back and then did a rap about dying and what the afterlife was like when he came back. So I feel like that gave us a good spot, and we convinced a bunch of Durger by the cleric casting animate dead on a skeleton that the skeleton was a lich.
Oh.
And they ran away.
Oh, that's great.
So that worked out pretty well for us in the long run.
All in all.
So that is this week. Then again, this game will go on hiatus for next week as we return to Evil Campaign number 2. The first one is out on YouTube. It is out on Twitch as well. So you guys can go and check that out if you want to see where we
See how
continue.
evil we can get these guys.
Pretty evil.
More evil
Murder.
than
Very
last time.
excited for that.
You guys were not
Murder.
evil previous. I mean, like you guys were like a little evil, but not very evil.
Well,
No,
that
we
was
were setting ourselves up.
No, I was impressed by
We were
how
being
not evil
smart.
you were. You were like smart evil people,
Yeah.
smart evil.
Like lawful
Yeah.
evil.
like lawful evil,
I mean,
That's
what my
not
character
necessarily
No.
true. It just
chaotic, stupid instead. Yeah.
is.
Mostly.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Mostly, our mission was to not cause attention to ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
It worked out great.
Because evil people can be evil, but they can also be smart to realize that when your superiors are way stronger than you are, doesn't matter how evil you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Still gonna die.
Yeah, you need to build up at least 300 experience before you start just being all willy-nilly evil.
I'm gonna say 900 experience.
900 is a good buffer.
Nine-
2700
I would love
ideally.
900.
2700 I would agree, but I think the 900 for 3 out of the 4 is important.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And yeah.
So anyway, what happened last time in this game? Some stuff.
We saved the dwarves. Not a big deal.
That still remains to be seen.
We started saving
They
the
started the
dwarves.
process. They recovered a lost heat pump that had been lost to the ages and became more of a myth than an actual fact. This heat pump was used to power the defunct adamantine forges deep beneath the dwarven city of Krag, contained beneath the Wyvern Peaks. So the party said, hey, look, we got this. They go to talk to the queen and her council and say, look, their benefactor says, we have the heat pump. I told you it was real. And the queen said, does it work?
We said maybe.
And he said, I don't
Maybe.
know. I haven't tested it. And she said, well, I'm not going to reward you or consider this to be everything fixed if you can't prove to me that this works and does allow us to forge adamantine. As to do so, the forges need to be superheated to melt the near unbreakable adamantine to have it be shapeable.
Yeah.
So, the party had an option of one of two choices. Head to the mines to mine chunks of adamantine and then transfer that back to the forge, or go to the forge, attach the heat pump, heat it up, and get it ready to go. So both were previously abandoned, so no one really knew what was going to happen on either end. The queen offered her, said she could send a small group to whichever one the party didn't do. So the party decided, let's go head down, and we're going to hook up the forge, and we're going to hold the forge till the adamantine arrives, and we'll try and work it.
Mhm.
Rick the Brick offered to be the one who would do the installation, and 2, the initial forging.
Worked out surprisingly well.
Which it did. So they managed to make their way there, and the queen told them, if you are able to secure this and prove to me that it works, I will grant you all a boon to the best of my ability. And think about what you want it to be. So they went, they fought off some various creatures that were living in the forge or nearby. Upon firing up the forge, it animated some dwarven ghosts made of fire, which attacked both the party and the dwarves bringing the adamantine. They were easily defeated by both parties.
Yeah.
At which point, Rick the Brick forged 2 sets of adamantine brass knuckles.
Yeah.
And was able to retrieve from the forge a black iron helmet that, when Don makes his eyes glow a fiery red.
That's right.
Which looks
Badass.
it does.
Yeah.
Laura, that is a
Could be
good question.
related.
How do you learn stuff about this campaign? I don't think I have actually. I don't think I set up all the links yet. So no, Mud Puppy, that won't work either. Let me try this real quick to the folks in the chat, and to anybody watching or they. Chat says, how do I learn more about this campaign? Well, that's a good question.
Experience it now.
You can experience it live.
New 5 gum.
I think
This was
this.
some excellent advertising.
I think
No,
that'll
I
work.
want
It'll
beer.
get you.
Beer and Trident.
Yeah.
It'll get you some stuff.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
everything is there at the moment. But the problem being, as far as with levels and stats, is the party went in 2 episodes from levels 1 to 2. The party is still level 2 at the moment, but level 3 is probably relatively close. So rather than have them give me all their
Not
character
really.
sheets for level 2, just gonna say because there's decisions to be made for most of the party at level 3, except for Celine, just spells for Celine. But everybody else has to choose their subclass at 3, which will drastically change the character sheets. But there's a video on YouTube that says, what is Evrand? And it's a very short 4-minute video where I give a very high-level, brief description of what the campaign is.
An overview.
And there is 2 other episodes that will also help to detail what happens. But, oh, great. A 404 error, you say. Well,
Well, in that case, then it's just not there. You can tell by the error.
yeah, I guess
Thank you,
apparently I didn't,
Well,
That
we
was
did
for
without
you, Celine, not the internet.
well,
Thanks,
I'll have to
appreciate
fix
it.
that. Oh, you know what? It's Evrand-campaign. That's why. I will put the link in the chat. I typed it in my Google search bar and it auto-corrected. So,
Don't you mean this, Ted? Yes, Google. Thank you.
yeah, Google knows me.
Cool.
There you
That's
go.
me.
Try that, Mud Puppy. That should fix it. Alright. Anyway, I shall continue with my little bit of story. So the party did what they said they were going to do, brought their stuff back to the queen, and she said, "What would you ask of me?" Rick, what did you ask for?
I asked for some adamantine armor.
Is what he asked for. Whether or not he gets that, spoiler alert, he's going to get it at some point in this campaign.
I need it.
Because Jake needs it, because I target him hardcore with crits, and he needs that
brutal.
so bad.
I do.
It's intense.
Even just normal hits is gonna kill me.
So much.
But
You've
this is
already
gonna
died.
also died one time.
And our two, this side of the table asks for knowledge, more or less. Arcane texts and things, which we will get to today. And Rick was told to seek out Krag McNugget,
That's
supposedly the only person left in Carrick Fair who knows how to work adamantine.
Yes.
At least if he's still alive.
Yeah.
And Wave was played by me because Pat wasn't here. But his whole class of trainees from the nearby city of Bricken's Homestead were known as the High Five. They were an fledgling adventuring party of 5 adventurers that made their way in to finalize their training in real combat, at which point all but Wave were murdered in a lightning blast from a Kuatoa whip. He had said, "Oh, what could you do?" Or actually, when Wave made his way back, Samuel told him that to prevent the bodies from being risen as Neolithic zombies, all the bodies were set aflame, which is the typical wartime procedure.
Sure.
However, one of his allies was a tiefling, and due to her unnatural fire resistance, the body, while charred, remained whole enough that it could be restored via something like a raise dead spell.
Right, just medium rare, not well done.
Exactly. So
It's perfect.
he was able to cart that body and brought it with him to the council meeting.
You did too.
You did.
Got your chainmail repaired though.
You
That's
did.
good.
I did my absolute best to stay as true to what I know of Wave's character.
Well, that's good.
A
Yeah,
lot
did
of
you
water
pick that hat on
jokes.
purpose for the water thing?
I was
I
wondering
mean,
that too,
I've
if I'm
had
being
it for a
honest.
while, so.
Yeah,
But did you wear it
did you wear it
specifically
today
because
Wave?
water?
Okay, cool.
And basically said, "Could you do anything for my fallen ally?" And they said, "It's going to take a day or two. We got to get a cleric with high enough magic back from the front lines to do that. But yes, we can bring her back. So it'll be the high 2 as opposed to the low 1.
It'll be too
Or
high.
Too
high.
Too high.
Too high.
I like it. That's
Too
good.
high.
That's good. You already have inspiration, but you have my...
Do I?
You do. It's in the box.
What's in the box?
You have the card. It's in the box.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I would give you another one, but I'm not going to.
Well, that's a wash.
You would, but
Is that one useless to you?
no, that's a good one.
No.
Okay, cool. Then I was gonna say I'd swap it out for you if it was, but you can keep that one. So that is, I think, pretty much where we ended at the end of last game.
Yep.
At which point we will have the party sort of split off and go in their separate ways. The this half of the table here, Oz and Ember. Oh, by the way, I also need to point out that you did come up with probably one of the funniest nicknames in this. Was Oz kept telling you things that that you were being very astute, and you decided that he is very astute. Oz is astute. Oztoot, and he didn't like that, but we made that
Not a
name.
fan.
That is
Not a
now
fan.
a nickname for
That is now a
us.
nickname that you have, that you made up. It seemed to catch on in the group. He doesn't like it, but I need to make sure you're aware of
Don't like that.
it. He writes it down. Rick the Brick, you have a luck. So roll of a natural 1.
Ooh, all right.
I'm working to get, by the way, for folks who want to know about the streaming side of things, and people were asking, Laura, you had asked about the chat, or I'm sorry, about the stats. Pretty similar to the critter decks that everybody's seen going around, are popular on most streams, where you have, the strength dex con, a little picture of the character, their AC, their HP, and basically like a quick briefer of their character sheet. That's going to go in place of where the chat is on screen. I've determined that I can do that remotely with an Elgato Stream Deck, so that's in the future, where I'll be able to, if Wave's doing a thing, we'll pull up Wave's little character sheet.
Nice.
So that will happen. I'm also attempting to, if I can get things working relatively easily with either a tablet or my phone, to put on one of these TVs our tracking spreadsheet, so these guys can see if they have luck, if they have fate die, if they have any of that stuff, so they can see it and know whether they have it to utilize it. Because, Oz has a fairy in a bottle right now.
Yep.
He may forget that he has that, and if I forget that he has it, and you guys all forget, then he just dies.
Then he dies.
I think I wrote it down.
It probably did, but if you lost where you put it,
Fairy in a bottle.
but
This is gonna be my game for keeping track of shit.
okay.
Like, I have my inventory section, and I have my notes section, and this fancy little ribbon that divides the two.
Yeah, that's
Thank
like
you.
mine.
It's very astute.
Thank you for. Thank you to my future brother-in-law Landon for
All
this
right, that
fancy
one gets you one.
All right.
You get two.
Wow.
Patrick, that's for you.
Oh, you can be observant.
So you actually, I think, are the most observant of the group.
You are. You have a
So.
16 passive perception. That's pretty good.
All right. So with that,
Roll a 13.
we're going to probably have the party split off and go in their various directions, and then we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna give you a heads up, Pat. Your part is gonna be relatively, I guess, mundane for a bit, because you're basically just waiting. You can kind of observe and look around and see what you can figure out, kind of around the city. Andy also gave you basically like a little coin or like a pendant that, as you don't need it, but for you guys more as outsiders, it gives you permission to
Be
in the city. It doesn't give you special permission to go anywhere you wouldn't normally, normal people wouldn't be able to go, but people aren't going to be like, oh shit, outsiders, and freak out. That is your permission to do so, so you can look around.
Sweet.
So you are basically going to, whatever you're going to do in the city, you'll let me know what you're looking for. I'm going to deal with these guys first, because it's going to be research and rolls on their end, and then we can bounce back and forth while they're doing that. But yeah, think about what you want to do. But essentially, for your main thing, you're sort of waiting for that cleric to come back.
Right.
So,
Any specialty foods of the city?
there are you in the market for specialty foods?
Got them munchies going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to relax a little bit, de-stress after what just happened. Maybe sit on a nice pillow.
Buy a pillow from Zanbao.
Maybe.
Well, that's a wrong game for that guy.
That's all right.
Dwarven pillows
Best
are
pillows.
decidedly not
They're
comfortable.
just
Good
rocks.
pillow.
Stone.
Yeah, it's basically a slab.
Here's
too
the
high for this.
comfiest
Yeah.
room we have. Maybe there's moss-covered stones. That might be more comfy.
Probably real expensive though.
Oh yeah, those are like the nice
The
pillows.
nice
Yeah.
ones,
So, we'll get back to you.
Not your
So you
common
think about
brand
what you're
pillows.
looking for in the city, and I will
Silly.
get back to you.
Nice.
And you're going to be looking for Krag, which we'll get back to you. So you guys,
Yeah.
two of you are traveling with Bibliosoft Worden, Danny's council member, who is the scribe and the dictator of all the arguments, but also the one who can get you into the library of Carrick Fairn, which it is it's about from where you guys were on kind of the sort of watch point of the front line, sort of the back end where you guys had met to have the council meeting. It is about a half an hour walk from there in through the city, which when you travel through, it's basically what you would expect of an underground dwarven city. Think Moria, basically. Okay. But rather than just massive halls of empty space, halls that ungodly high for such a small people, but filled with various square-shaped stone buildings of different size and different design. And you could imagine that in a different time it would be bustling and there'd be a lot of people out in the streets and people selling wares. There basically at any point is the constant sound of hammers on anvils and things being worked. That's just a general sound contained within the city. But this is a wartime effort, so it seems like there are very few people out and about. It is only essential people doing essential things because
Everybody's on business.
right. If you can fight, you're out fighting basically. So you travel through the city through a handful of different districts to an older part of the city. The stone is still well kept, but you can see there's a little more cracks and a little more wear to it. Where you are brought inside this dark, you don't have dark vision.
No.
It is lit in the city, at least in the main part of the city, by various continual light torches so that they don't set off any heat. As one, you're underground. Although it is a high ceiling, heat will eventually build up. Also, there's a lot of forges and things working around. Extra heat in bad places could cause for
Issue.
some issue. Oil and things around. So you make your way into this square square archway, and it is dark, and there's a set of stairs that go down. She leads you down these stairs in the dark. You lay a torch or whatever this case may be. You can see, or just you have a torch, so you can follow.
Can you just poke it?
Yeah, you have a torch.
Oh, sorry. Can you poke it? Thanks.
There you go. So you guys make your way down. Oh, you're walking down for about 5 minutes. It's a relatively, actually, pretty much, you're a little bit hunched, but you're fine. You make your way.
The ceilings are huge.
Yeah, for you, they are pretty big, yeah. And then it opens up as you get to the bottom. There's a door. She pushes open the set of double doors. And for the grandiose nature of the rest of the city, this is fairly plain.
Oh.
Dwarves like books, and they have a deep section of history, but there's other things to be done. So as you look around, it is several rows of stacks. It's nothing crazy, but there are several various different, and it is sectioned off relatively well. You have dwarven history, which seems to be the best kept section. It's got basically reigns of different kings and times before and things through that. You have a fictional section. You have a kind of crafting and different kind of that section for different processes and things for dwarven make, brewing, masonry, smithing. There is a section on fiction and stories, and then there's another section that is sort of I guess this would be general magic, so it's a mixture of divine and arcane. And then she kind of sits at a chair by the door and sits down and pulls like a book out of her robes and kind of sits there and says, here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Basically, have at it.
Yeah, essentially.
All right.
She'll just, the rules are basically, can't take anything with you.
Fair.
This is here.
Accept knowledge.
Accept knowledge. And don't, because you have a torch, don't burn anything.
Is it still dark in here?
I guess she could. Yeah, there would be lights in here, so
Okay,
you'd be fine. You could put the torch out. Yeah. So don't
Save
burn
it for
anything
later.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's bad move.
You're a very strange creature.
I get that a lot, actually.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are basically at it, and you can. She kind of pointed you in general sections. There's rows of stacks to walk through.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, what are you looking for? I'll keep an eye out.
This symbol.
Oh, all right. If I see it, I'll let you know.
They didn't get a chance. I have the symbol. I didn't get a chance to sketch it so that you'll have a physical prop for that going forward.
Cool.
So, where would you guys like to peruse?
I guess general magic, focusing on the arcane.
I'm gonna start in that same section.
Okay. Both of you make me intelligence checks.
good luck.
Or an
guys.
arcane check if you've got it.
Oh God.
Oh.
How did that? What?
Well, lean there.
It was a 15. I do have Arcana, so
We
19.
could get that 100.
Okay, 19. All right, so you're looking through the various.
16. Oh God, I'm gonna myself.
Sure, of course.
Oh, it's only a 1. So 17.
Okay, so let's see. As you are looking through the various sections of books, looking specifically for arcane,
Like an idiot's guide to magic would be appropriate for me.
Idiot's Guide to Magic. Let's see what we've got here.
Rogue's first magic.
Yeah. You alright?
Magic 098 as the course.
Yes.
Yes, that is what it is. You
Not
do
even the
see,
100 levels.
101.
You're looking through, and the first book that you see of that seems to be more arcane on your search through, you do see a lot of prayer books and different things about the different dwarven gods and, you know, your faith in you and things of that nature. And the first one that seems to be arcane to you is on the use of blood in transfiguration.
Oh. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay, so you'll take that book. We'll come back to that.
Blood and magic. That sounds
And
perfect
you
for
were
me.
looking for, where were you going? Same section?
Yeah, to see if it's something magical. And then if I don't find anything there, then I would go back to the lady and be like, "Do you have anything of like world history? Like nothing, like the stuff that's not as specific to the dwarven
Heraldry and whatnot.
Sure.
Or if she has any guidance on where I should look."
Yo, lady. You got a
Yo,
section
lady.
on symbols,
Yo,
symbology,
baby.
wombology.
The study of
Wombology,
Wumbo?
the study
You
of
know.
Wumbo. Yeah.
You see that book. That book is there.
Oh, I'm gonna look at that.
Okay, you're gonna look at Wombology, the study of Wumbo.
Wumbo.
Okay, we're gonna jump over to you, Rick, as these two are searching through their books.
All right.
So basically, what's your plan? What's your move?
What? So I don't know where Krag McNuggles lives.
You don't.
Okay.
You don't even know if he's still alive.
I don't even know if he's still alive. Is there like a place where I would go check and see if he died?
Pages.
You could check. You could go to where the catacombs are and see if there's any. I mean, it'd be.
Should come
They're dwarves, right? So your maximum lifespan for the most part, people are looking at around 500-ish if they're not killed in a war. So you got a pretty big scope of time to look through.
Right.
So you could go there, and you just got to start sifting through.
Instead of that, I'm gonna go to a well-known forge.
Okay.
You know, go someplace higher end
Okay.
where they might, know of him.
Okay. Yeah, there's that, or you could go. You could have potentially the option to go to more of the residential district and look for potentially the more older locations.
Go into the retirement area.
Essentially, yeah, which is not. There's not many dwarves that make it to that point. Most of them go out one way or another.
All right. I'll go to the old folks' home.
The old folks.
I'm gonna bring Wave with me.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, yeah.
I'm not just leaving you by yourself to do whatever.
So you're
To
Alright.
fuck this up for us.
So Sabine's body was left. I forget. I think that one point you did light up last time too. I forget. I think we had that.
It was about time.
Yeah.
It happened at least at one
How much
point.
more gouge leaf do you have on you?
Oh,
I was gonna
plenty.
say you traded a lot.
He did. He's got some, but this is the last of the good stuff.
So
Ah.
he's running out.
2.5. Something.
2.5 for grams.
Oh,
Oh no. We'll see.
Pow.
No.
No.
We'd all like that.
We need like extra backpacks.
Yes. Bag of upholding.
Bag of holding.
Backpack of.
Portable home.
We need that lizard folk. Anyway, that's a different campaign.
Fair. So yes, you bring him along with you. You know that Sabine's body is being tended to by Samuel. He did cast Gentle Repose, and has been continuing to cast that to keep the body preserved, so that it won't start to decay. I mean, it's scorched,
Right.
but it won't decay any further. And that way, if they do have trouble securing a cleric from the front lines, the time frame is basically indefinite for casting a raised dead spell.
And do I know that the raised dead is gonna like bring her back, like the way she is? Is she gonna be brought back healed? Is she gonna be?
She's gonna be live.
She ain't gonna be dead.
Go ahead and make me either a medicine check. Actually, that'd probably be the best because it's
Religion?
a wisdom check. Or religion, whichever's higher. I'm assuming it's probably just medicine because
Medicine.
wisdom's higher.
18.
Okay. You know that raised dead works on bodies that are wholly together. It won't fix someone that's decapitated, where their body is utterly destroyed, turned to dust, missing limbs and things of that nature. But her body is whole; it's just charred. So it will bring her back. It'll basically get rid of the scorched flesh, and it will bring her back more or less as she was.
10 fingers, 10 toes.
The only thing that was that you know of that was missing was her glaive that she had. The glaive blade existed. The haft was made out of wood, so it was destroyed.
Okay.
But you had that as well.
Yeah,
Oh, Glavy.
you have a glaive.
Oh, gravy.
Glavy. Alright, so I'm going to drag him along.
To the old folks.
To the old folks' home.
Again, you're brought through this dwarven city, massive city. You see all these different buildings. Do you speak Dwarvish?
I do.
Okay, so you see that there's a handful of different runes on the outside. There's obviously a lot of smiths. There's the occasional bakery, handful of breweries of different kinds. There is, various taverns and things as you make your way through. Again, a lot of these not seeing a lot of use of specifically inns because there's not a lot of people coming from the outside to stay.
Right.
Not a lot of people traveling, given the wartime. So you guys make your way through. It is about it's about an hour or so to get all the way through the city to kind of the back end, farthest away from entering towards the mines and things. Sometimes old people like the quiet.
Yeah.
To the old, basically the equivalency of where the old folks' home would be for the various people of retirement. So there is like a nursing home, as it were.
Right.
And then there are other just sort of like
Old communities.
Yeah. So where do you want to go?
I guess how old do I think Krag McNuggles is? I mean, I know he's old. Because if he was doing the adamantine, like, he's got to be pushing, like, he's got to be close to 500 years old, if not older.
Yeah, if not older than that. So he's at the tail end of his life.
Yeah, we'll go to the nursing home. That makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, you go into the dwarven nursing home, and you can see, it's sort of a sad sight. There's a lot of, there's a hand, as you're like walking in, there's sort of the front desk, as it were, and you can kind of see through. There's no glass down here, but they're all kind of like open concept behind the counter, and you can see people kind of shuffling around, and it's, there's old people. You can see cataract eyes, hair all white, still lengthy beards, some of them still braided, but
right, getting wispy.
Yep. There again, and then there's some people that are basically in the dwarven equivalent of a wheelchair, which is basically a wheelchair just made out of stone.
Oh no. Keeps the upper body strong.
You actually see in the corner a fight break out, which you can see as you look further into the room. This is Dwarven Bingo, and apparently something happened and it's caused a fight. And you see like orderlies come out and like go to break up the old guys that are fighting each other. So.
All right, so I walk up to the
counter, and there's a younger dwarf there. His beard is well kept, but it's not like as long or clearly as ornately braided. Seems to be, probably 100-ish or so.
He's still figuring out life.
Yeah, and he kind of sees you coming, and he like looks at you like maybe he knows who you are. He's not sure, but there's a lot of old people that claim to be a lot of other people, so he doesn't want to jump to conclusions.
That's fair.
And he looks at you and says, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, you can. So great, yeah.
Are you visiting? Are you here?
Yeah, we're here to see Krag McNuggles.
And he like pulls out like opens up and he starts like looking through and he's like, oh no. Starts going
this
through
probably
his work. He keeps going through and he's looking and he's just like,
do I know anything about Krag McNuggles, like what he looks like, or any like tidbits about him?
You could barely remember his name.
That's true. That's true. I remember not being able to remember.
He's got knuckles.
He does. Cracks him.
And he looks through the thing and he says, I'm sorry, I don't have any record of Krag McNuggles here. Do you know, was he admitted here? Are you family?
No, we're not family.
Well, this is unfortunately it's not here in my book, so I'm gonna guess that
He's not here
he's
at
not
all.
here. You might, I don't know. It's kind of a long shot, but there's
Yeah,
I'll community
go,
out
I'll
there.
go look. Thanks.
yeah.
What's your name?
His name is.
I walk away.
Alright.
Come on, let's go.
Alright.
Alright, so I drag Wave into the next room.
As you walk out, you hear in
It's
Dwarven,
hard to drag waves.
"I'll show you, Bingo!" And then you hear scuffling as you
Bing,
walk out.
ting, ting.
Bong.
So I walk in, and there's a lot of old dwarves.
Yeah, you can see they're relatively almost like cookie cutter houses
Right.
throughout. They're all relatively small, as most of these people are just by themselves, and they're just rows, and it stacks up a little bit, like 3 tiers
Okay.
of.
They're like
these.
old people, old dwarven condos.
That
This
is
is
basically
sad.
what it is. Yeah.
1 car, 2 car
Alright.
drivers just for the Barney Rubble.
So are there any like groups of people? Groups of older dwarves?
There are. Yeah, you mean like
Bingo crowd?
outside?
Oh, yeah. Outside of bingo, is there any other crowds going on? Is there a forge around here?
Okay, you mean not in the nursing home.
Right.
Outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see that there is out in kind of like in the street,
Mhm.
like outside one of the houses, there is a guy in a chair and another guy's cutting his hair.
Ah.
There's a couple other guys standing around having a conversation.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. This is a barbershop. This is a good place to get information. It is.
Yeah,
It's true.
I'm agreeing.
All right, so I go there.
And they kind of see, and they're just chatting about the good old days. And I remember when back in, which war was it? I don't know. And they're just,
Everybody's just chatting.
yeah.
All right. So I'll sit down, like I'm intending to get my beard trimmed.
Sure.
And I'll start chatting with these guys, about the good old days back in, back before I was born and all that junk. When-
Sure. And what's your plan for Wade? Because he's just there with you.
Yeah, he's just standing there. I'm just gonna ignore him for now. So I'm gonna.
And one of the old guys with a cane, as you're having this conversation, he goes, "Oh, you're blue."
Yeah.
All right, just
Yeah.
checking. See, I told you it wasn't just me.
Yeah, no, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's blue guy.
He's my blue guy.
I'm,
so
I'm just gonna like
He
take
goes,
out a
"Oh,
little bit
that's
of water
precious.
out of my pocket and just
That
like make
you're
it psh, like a
reaching
little...
out, and that you can find people for you, not just in the dwarven community."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I'm looking for people for me, you remember Krag McNuckles?
And like one of the other guys, like, "Ha! What are you looking for that guy for?
What?
He's just old and like ornery.
Yeah,
He
man.
doesn't ever want to see anybody. He never comes out of his house."
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Never ever.
I mean, I haven't seen
Like which house though?
like that house. And
Alright.
putting like the way far, like all the way back to the edge of the wall where it's Rough Mountain, like the top 3rd tier, that last one, all the way on the left.
All right, cool. Do I have any adamantine left?
Did you take any adamantine?
I feel like I would have.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Cool.
Why not?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have-
I took some. I saw you.
Like a nugget.
Like
Yeah.
like an ingot, like a small ingot, like
Right.
about yay big.
All right. So I've got that with me,
You have that with you.
and I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
mean,
like, oh yeah, cool. Thanks,
For adults
guys.
here, Sean, it's an ingot.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be like, all right, cool, thanks. Yeah. I'll make sure to go talk to him right now.
And they're like, they're all kind of like looking at you like, all right, this guy's gonna go get whatever.
Yell
And
at.
the barber who's like, he doesn't even turn away from, he's working on this guy's beard. And again, you do see that even though these guys are old and some of their beards are a little more gray, they are like pristinely braided and
Yeah.
kept well. And the barber who's just not even looking at you, he's got big old like Coke bottle glasses focused on this beard as he's trimming. And he says, you may want to bring a bottle of fire spirits with you when you go. And he just keeps cutting.
All right, I actually have a bottle of
I know
fire
you do,
spirits.
which I forgot, which is
Jake, what happened to your finger?
Convenient. Oh, I had a just a paint scraper in my pocket today, and I went to go reach into my pocket to not for that specifically, and I just stabbed myself, so I got like a big stab right on the top of my
that sounds
finger.
fun.
Bummer.
But it's okay.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Is that
Probably won't die.
Is that tape on it?
Probably.
There's a band-aid and then tape, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, not just
Straight tape.
I'm not a savage.
Well, I had a friend once who refused
Duct tape. Yeah.
who refused band-aids.
Oh.
He was like, "Nah, I don't use band-aids. Just give me a tissue." Then he would wrap his finger in a tissue. He's like, "You have any tape?" I'm like, "That's a band-aid, except for with extra steps and not like it's not
Yeah.
sterile.
Yeah, it's like a worse band-aid.
It's like a worse band-aid."
Like
So I was wondering if you did that.
No, I got a band-aid and then tape on top of that so that I would stop bleeding
That
through
makes sense.
the band-aid.
Oh god,
Fair.
Yeah.
cool. Sorry to interrupt the game. I was just worried about my friend Jake.
Yeah, no, everything's good though.
Fine and dandy.
So I head over to Craig's.
Bring Wave with you.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you're just gonna leave him at the barber shop.
He doesn't have a beard,
No, he doesn't.
so that would be rude.
I mean, they could do his hair, but he's kind of got like the side shave
Yeah, he's
thing going on, right?
he's got a
There's
a look.
There's like a wave strip shaved out.
Yeah, all right. Fancy
Fancy, yeah.
for dwarves.
Fancy for dwarves.
All right, yeah. So it takes.
I don't
you...
really keep my beard all braided up either.
Yeah, I don't know what your beard looks
My
like.
beard's just going.
It's
It's just not like it's shaped,
It's
but it's
shaped.
not braided. It's not
Okay.
like I'm not like trying to be fancy,
So
and I don't care about anybody else's opinion.
That sounds like.
And it says it right in my beard.
that pretty much, yeah.
Whenever somebody points out I'm blue too, I'm gonna like take out water and like do something with it. So like when they mentioned that, I took out a little water and like made it shoot up like a firework. And,
And they're like,
yeah,
He's
I'm
Elsa
blue.
with water.
and they're like, all right.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Hey, you do you, man. Whatever
Nah.
flavor you need for your character to make you feel like you showed off who you were, that worked.
A little
for me.
something.
Yeah.
Little something. Hey, eventually you're gonna run out of water, though. You're gonna have to
Oh
refill.
no, no!
your
When
water.
it does it,
Oh, you just
recollects.
catch it and
yeah,
you
yeah.
get. Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of there's some
Well,
creative water bending.
Yeah.
Comes out and then you pull.
I
it
like
back.
walk away and it like follows me.
Sure.
You're pushing it. But
Yeah,
that's
you
okay.
really are, but that's fine.
So I
For
go
now.
to Krag McNuckles' house.
All right, so you find your way, you work your way up to the third tier and walk this long pier to the end, and then you see a door, a stone door on stone hinges. The windows have been like boarded up,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a big sign in Dwarven that just says "Go away"
Mhm.
on the door.
I
think we should go away.
open the door.
You open.
I just open the door. Yeah. It's locked.
Yeah.
All right, and then I knock on the door.
You hear like mumbling from the inside.
I keep knocking on the door persistently.
You're the worst type of visitor.
Yeah. Well, I'm
And you hear
interested
just
in
like, "Go away."
Krag McNuckles. You in there?
And he says, "No."
Cunning.
Who are you then?
Rufus deception.
He says, "It's none of your business."
That's actually true.
It's exactly. I'm here on this business. This is my business right now.
Agreed.
So I'm gonna take the adamantine and start knocking with that. Clink, clink, clink. So it makes that distinct adamantine sound.
Distinct.
Ah.
Yeah, because it's so dense. It's got its own knock. And I'll be like, hey, what are you just some wimp going to die in a corner?
Wow.
Make me an intimidation check.
Right.
Through the door. I won't give you disadvantage. We'll just.
1.
You can re-roll that.
You got- yeah, you got
That's right.
touch
I'll
of
use
luck.
my luck. Thank you, internet,
Yes,
for
I think
saving me
that was
from
Mud Puppy. I
myself.
believe. It was Mud Puppy.
8.
Oh. All right, you got to re-roll.
All right, here we go again. 9. Hey, man.
Only you, Jake.
When I rolled that 1, though, I have like a -1, so that would have been a 0 intimidation.
You thought you were talking.
You can't hear me through the door. He's old, a lot of hair in the ears. It's a dwarven malady. Anyway, we'll work through it.
All right.
Through the
So you
walls.
knock, and he says, so you just called him a coward for going to die.
Yeah,
in
in the corner.
And he says, I've done my time. You just hear groaning. And you hear like squeaking inside.
I heard you were the guy. The only guy who can smith adamantine. Let me in, man.
We got the forge up and running.
He's like, who are you?
Wave gouger.
Cedric Von Brick.
And here's a pause for a moment.
We're from the Queen.
Do you say that?
She sent us.
Are we lying right out there?
Oh wait.
Nah,
she
she
No,
didn't
she
send us.
didn't.
I was-
We're here on our own.
You weren't
Oh.
here last week, so I'll give you.
Alright.
I'll give you a freebie on that.
That's fair.
Oh,
Wait, didn't she tell you to go?
No,
No.
she said.
he said he was looking for armor,
Yeah.
and she said if you're looking for somebody who could shape adamantine, if you can find this guy, he's
Oh.
probably your guy.
Yeah. So
Why wouldn't
That's
she
not-
send us to
We're
get
not
him
not
though
from
if
the
they're
Queen.
trying
Yeah.
to forge more
the queen told you to come here.
Right.
Those are all facts.
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 You're not there.
I'm
You're
not
reading
there.
your book.
I don't-
We're
you're
reading
not
the
there
best
either.
books.
Anyway,
This one's about blood and transfiguration.
Mine's about Wumbo.
I don't know what that means.
That's
You
fun.
wish you knew.
It's not
Well, if you
particularly.
turn it upside
Upside
down,
down.
it could be Mumbo.
It could be Mumbo. Mumbo.
Cool.
oh, you have another luck from my.
Can you
Oh,
read
good.
which
Thank you,
word?
Mud Puppy. I
And
need it.
It would just be mumbo jumbo.
I like that, Pat. I'm gonna drink that.
You're
He's
start,
not-
you're good for now.
You're having a good game.
He's having a good
You're
run
having a
today.
good game. I'm not giving you another card because I let the water follow you. I have to pick and choose my battles.
That's fair.
And he goes, fine. And you hear just like something click.
Right.
And you open the door. It's dark in here. You can't see in the dark. No, you can't. So it's just dark. You see sitting in a chair. There was like you see a chain that was connected to a latch on the door. That as you come in, you can see the pulley system.
Ah.
That comes over and leads to a chair
Okay.
where this dwarf is just seated in the dark. You can see gray. He's very gray. He's very gnarled and mangled. Sleeping over
Oh
here.
no, I'm punching him out.
That's okay. Listen, we had to deal with you falling asleep at the table last time.
That's right.
It's true.
Stay engaged.
I was
The
very
internet
out of
can
it.
We
watch
need
you.
more caffeine.
She punches me and I get knocked out, and then
Shocking away.
shocking grass.
Shocking
Uh,
grass. Yeah,
Well, that
that
only
works.
works on Jake.
We're being
Um,
silent over here though.
I'm trying to get real armor
Hey,
instead of
that's a
plot
step
armor.
in the right direction.
Exactly. We're goofing off, but
So-
it's silent.
Anyway.
Alright. So there he is. He's sitting all alone
Yeah.
in the dark.
Yes.
Sad.
It is sad. And he says, and he's just sitting there in his chair, and he says, fine. And he like gestures at like a crate,
I sit on the
and
crate.
he says, and he kind of like looks at you with like squinty eyes, but you can't see 'cause it's dark. You got a little bit of light coming in, so you can kind of see the general
Mm-hmm.
room. And he's like,
Hello.
Whatever. And he just like points at another crate that's nearby, and you can go sit on that crate. And he just kind of looks. As you get closer, now you can see that there are braces on his legs.
Right.
And you also notice that his knuckles are just gnarled, and the skin is all manner of deformed and mangled. And you notice that his entire left hand, like you don't even know if his fingers work.
Right.
There is massive scar tissue all around these knuckles.
Oh.
And these knuckles, except for right here in the center, there is one cylindrical spike
Okay.
that is in between these two knuckles,
Nice.
but it's gnarled on this side and gnarled on this side, and massive mounds of scar tissue, almost to the point where you don't know if his fingers can really grab anything anymore.
Right.
So, and he says, "What are you doing here?"
Went to the adamantine forge. Found the pump. Get it back working. Got it fired up. Heard you were the only guy who could do anything with it. Although, not so sure anymore.
And he says, "You've been looking for my dad, Krag with 2 G's.
Ah,
He's been gone from us for a while.
double G's, yeah.
We haven't really seen one of these in a long time. We haven't had much adamantine around for a long time. But he knew from his father and so on I just know a little bit, but haven't had much reason to care about any of that for a while.
Oh, we got reasons now. I'm gonna take the adamantine out and I'm gonna pop it on the table.
And his eyes go wide as you put it out there, and he looks at it. And there's like a little tinkling in his eyes as he looks at it. And he like reaches out this gnarled, shaky hand. You realize his whole body is almost tremor-like as he picks up this thing. And when he touches that piece of adamantine, the tremors in his hand stop.
Okay.
And he just looks at it with this analytical eye as he turns it over in his hand. And he says, "Oh, that's a real nice gift." And he puts it down on the table and gives it back to you. It's real nice. But I don't know if I can help you.
Where do I go then, man? You're the only lead right now. I need something. Came all the way down here, sought you out. You grumpy old man.
He takes him like rocking a couple times. He gets up
Oh yeah, I'll help
out
him.
of his chair, and then it's just a sad spectacle as he's walking, and the braces on his legs are creaking, and you're not actually sure if it's the metal braces or just his bones that are doing the creaking.
Oh jeez.
And he slowly hobbles over to a bookshelf, and he pushes some books out of the way. And behind the bookshelf, you see he kind of like opens a compartment in the wall, stone slab, sides to the side. He pulls out some old paper manuscript. He comes waddling over to like a table, puts them, and he spreads them out. And he says, "What are you looking for? What are you looking for?"
Looking for something to do with this adamantine. I know there's not much, but looking at, we got this war going on with the Coatella. I don't know if you've heard over here.
I've heard.
Degenerate land.
Mm.
But wait. The dwarves need an edge, but I gotta get out of here. You what's up with your hands, man? Why are you so gnarled?
He says, because you is all familiar with there's a word that it doesn't matter. It's a dwarven word for axe idiot, which is the dwarven word for battle rager.
Okay.
That's battle rager in dwarven translates to axe idiot.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And he says, you're familiar at all with battle ragers? You ever heard of them? I'm sure you haven't seen one, but have you ever heard of one?
Yeah, I mean, vaguely.
He goes, well, we were an elite group of warriors trained in a specialty kind of armor made with spikes. Your body became your weapon. I mean, you could use a weapon too, but almost
Cold-Yard?
irrelevant. I forget.
Cold yard?
Maybe. I forget. It doesn't matter.
I like
But
it.
anyway, yeah. It's in Sword Coast Adventures Guide under Battle Rager. It says it right at the top.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But he says part of that process to truly solidify, you learn how to make the armor. You wear it, you train in it, you harden your head, you harden your body. And he says that it's rough. Apparently, not many of them live as long as I have, and it takes its toll on your body. And he points at his like busted up legs. He says you learn to run around in this stuff and just use your body like a human or a dwarven wrecking ball, and it just takes its toll on all your joints. And he said, but to solidify the finalization of your training, there was a special rite that dwarves battle ragers used to undertake called the Rite of the Rage, when they would take adamantine corkscrew spikes and drill them into each of the joints between each of your knuckles.
Ooh.
And that is so that you're never without a weapon. If you're never without your armor, you still have a weapon. And that was the finalization of that. And I'm sure you've heard of the Forged War. It's probably after your time, but
Yeah.
he goes, long story short, we thought we were going to get clever and outsource some of our work to things we'd created. We'd made all of these metal creatures to do all the work for us. They could go work in forges and things of that nature. And a long story short, it didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
And they started to gain their own intelligence, and we had a long, drawn-out fight, and that's where most of our battle ragers were lost, because you can't punch a man made out of metal. It doesn't work that well.
No. You can.
You can. It just, that's where we lost most of it.
Yeah.
And he said, we pretty much wiped out all of them. There'd be occasional, people would find one occasionally. Oh, there's a couple starting to rebuild. We got to go take them out. And he says about 450 years ago, give or take, we had heard of a pop-up group of these things starting to rebuild, and I was on a task force sent to take them out. And he said this one was particularly bad. Apparently, they decided to take all of the, rather than focusing on making a ton of these other creatures to continue this onward, they decided to focus their efforts on magnets.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to pull in dwarven weapons, dwarven armor. And I was the last of my group left to fight the final one. And in that final showdown with that warforged creature, it used the magnet to slowly rip each one of these out of my knuckles. And he said, before I just threw my body at the supports of the cave and brought the whole thing down on top of it.
Damn.
And I hobbled my way back. And we haven't seen any of them since, and hopefully that's the end of it.
Gotta hope,
But
right?
somewhere down there's the other 5 spikes.
Ha.
They said, so I'm a little ornery, and I stay here in my cave in the corner because I can't do anything. And, you know, I was only 75 years old when that happened. So I tried to get out there and train other people, but we had this whole other war now.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take the time. It takes time to train and learn how to do this, and we don't have the means to make the armor and make the spikes. He says, I got 1 spike left that ain't going to do much for making new battle ragers.
I guess not.
You need the adamantine because their body doesn't reject the metal.
Right.
Because it's pure.
Well, we've got the adamantine now.
He says, all right, well, he says, then you got to... And you see as you're looking at these papers, as he's trying to have this conversation and talk about all this
Losing
shit
his
that's
train
going
of thought.
Yeah, it's just a lot. There's definitely a wistfulness as he's thinking back to younger days. And you look back at these, and you can see that on some of these kind of old, loose, almost like butcher paper, but like thinner, waxier type material, you're looking through these, and you can see that there is, one is basically just like adamantine forge process.
Okay.
You know, basically the way, and it shows like, this is like the process for making like a hammerhead.
Okay.
And then there's like a couple more, and like it's a general process, but it shows like this for a hammer, this for an axe, general stuff like that. And as you're going through, seeing different things, shields and armor and barricades, you know, not tower shields, but essentially remote barricades that you can drop to make a shield wall to help, you know, fortify locations as you're pushing forward. And then as you get towards the bottom, you can see that there is several sheaths that are, one is just basically spikes, and it's showing with the runes of how to add that to leather armor. Basically the same process as studded leather armor, but rather than studs, it's spikes.
Okay.
And you can see that there's the same thing for a breastplate and a half plate and full plate, a splint mail. There's ways to do it with things that make sense, and there's sheets of how to do that. And then the final sheet is basically the intense process of turning these cylindrical cones to make them into a singular point with a corkscrew on the other end for insertion into knuckles. And that's basically this whole thing. He says, I figured these were just going to die with me. But...
Oh no, Mr. McNuggles.
And he says, this, if it's true, and it's working, and the forge is up again, well then maybe these will be of use to everyone.
Oh, hell yeah.
While all this is going on,
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the camera.
You got so
Internet.
shaky.
I rolled a 19. I wanted to take some gouger leaf and put it in mortar and pedestal, make a special tea for him. It's a stress reliever and it helps focus.
Okay, alright.
Just give it to him and say, hey, you know, I suggest you try this. It's good. Maybe like after a hard day's work, and you need to rest and you know.
Have hard days.
Do you?
It's a good counter argument. Well, he might.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you present this bottle by any chance when you came in?
I've got it, and
Okay.
we're drinking it.
Oh, you have been.
Sure, why
And you
not?
go to like give him the tea, and he like takes the tea and he pours some of the fire spirits in it, and then he just throws it all back.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna have a day.
And he's just like, it just seems like he just feels good. Like there's a little bit, like you watch the tension in his shoulders
Drop a
drop a
little.
little bit. This guy is basically, you imagine that his life is pain,
Yeah.
basically.
He's in constant pain. Look at, I mean, if you look at how bad he is. Oh, by the way, try this. It's the fire spirits.
I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please. Let me just pull up.
Ooh. 12.
All right. Let me get the exact effects here.
Fucked up.
Yeah, as a fighter, you have strength and dexterity
Okay.
saving throws,
Oh.
right? Fighters strength and dex?
Strength and con.
Strength and con? Same thing as...
What was your save, Matt?
12.
no, fighters strength
12?
and dex.
Yep.
So
Am I spitting it up again?
no, you it is this is the strongest thing. You're struck in blind from how
Oh,
powerful
no, it is strength and con.
this
Oh.
this is. It'll and he just kind of like looks at you as you're like, and he just starts laughing at this guy, and he's like, and you can say that you can tell that just from like. You can hear the phlegm like clearing in his chest and throat as he's laughing, as this is someone that hasn't either spoken or laughed this much in a long, long time. And he just says, and he goes, "Oh, you'll be fine in about a half an hour."
All right.
So you are completely blind. For
Literally.
a half hour.
Wow.
Yeah, it's green alcohol.
The shit is real strong. And he goes, "That's why we don't really give dwarven holy water to outsiders."
Hmm.
I thought he could handle it. But oh well.
Clearly not.
Fun fact, internet, that is actually a legitimate Forgotten Realms thing, but I added it to my game because it's funny. So yeah, that's it's basically the equivalent of
Stop
Alchemist's Fire if you light it on fire. It works as holy water in the hands of certain dwarven clerics. It is also an extremely potent alcohol, and that's a real thing. So there you go.
So I'm gonna take these plans, these schematics. I'm gonna go make myself some of these knuckles. What do I need to be a battle rager?
And he gets a glint in his eye, and he goes, and you see him like stand up, and he again stretches out his limbs a little bit, and you hear more creaking. There's no joints on his arm. There's no braces on his arms, but there's just creaking. And you see him like
I think
kind
that
of.
tea would be an anti-inflammatory too.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he seems, and he's like bouncing on his legs a little bit, and he's thinking about it. And he goes, "Oh, well, you're gonna need training."
All
And he
right,
says, "I could do that."
let's do it then.
All right, we're gonna. This training montage will happen.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Ooh.
80s training montage.
That's why my face was like.
You're there for this.
You're gonna need a
This is
montage.
happening, and then Wave's just like,
Oh, it takes a
Blind for
montage.
I'm like trying to
It was-
splash water in
it's
my eyes.
DC 13.
No,
Oh,
Oh.
right there,
I'm
man.
getting a cut.
no,
Oh,
not your
well.
hair, but like your beard hairs.
I'm getting a cut.
What are you gonna do?
Your
You're
beard
gonna,
hair
you're gonna
cuts.
Probably these.
crash among the reef.
No,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting unwieldy.
So,
Sink or swim.
Beard's getting unwieldy.
All right, we're gonna jump.
punching time.
We're gonna jump back to you guys.
Oh yay!
Oh, hey!
We're having a very different adventure.
Yes, we are.
A quieter one
Yes.
with less alcohol.
Sounds worse.
It
Yeah,
sounds
it
worse.
I
really
said
does.
different. I didn't say better.
No, you did say different.
Yeah.
I said worse.
Yeah, we're not arguing.
So you, in your
Yes.
study of Wombo, learn that there are various tenses of
Oh,
Wombo.
okay.
I Wombo, he
He
Wombo,
Wombo.
or
You Wumbo.
you Wombo, he, she, we, Wombo.
Wombo.
You're not entirely sure what the whole text describes it as if you know what it is. It never actually tells you what Wombo is, but it describes it. It's like that you just whoever's reading this book, you would just know.
No.
Like that's just it's part of the study of Wombology is like
knowing
you
Wumbo.
just know what Wumbo is. Yeah.
Have you tried setting it to Wumbo?
There's a section that's actually like the first chapter is have you tried setting it to Wumbo?
No, I haven't.
Well,
Answer there's my problem.
yeah. It's M for Mini and W for Wumbo.
Yeah.
I already drank for this joke. I'm not gonna keep doing it.
We're
You keep
enjoying
making
it.
Yeah,
That's
this
fine.
is more for us.
That's fine. I'm just saying. It's the same joke, so I count it as the first drink because I'm done.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So yours is. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Is this your first real spin with arcane magics?
The first deep one. Like I knew my father was a wizard, so I was near magic, and I like get the basic concept, but I've never done any research into it myself.
Okay, so this shit's fucked up.
Okay.
This is like the power of like sanguine mastery of blood as a arcane fluid, and the way that you can use blood to alter magics. There is a process in sacrificing your own vitality to power different magics. Some people focus entirely on this.
As soon as I get to the section about sacrificing my power for magic, I stop.
Well, it's just your vitality, not your power.
Okay, well, yeah, whatever. As soon as sacrifice, nope. Next.
If there's any work or sacrifice involved, I'm out.
Well, I mean, sacrificing vitality sounds like a bad thing to do in the middle of combat for a guy who's not like inherently
Vital.
magic. Yeah.
There
Next
is
book. Don't care.
blood thralls, blood mages, all different manner of things that there's magic items that
Bloody
are powered
fingers.
from blood.
The blood for all thing would also freak me out because of my mom.
Yeah, I mean,
So thralls and sacrificing my vitality. That's where Oz draws the line.
You're looking for like a magic missile kind of magic.
Yeah, like something easy. Like I don't know, like a mage hand, something where I could steal from people from 30 feet away. Fun stuff like that.
Nah.
You see a book as you put this one down, A Millennium of Magic, Tracking Trends Through the Times. And you say this might be more your speed.
All right.
It's just a general overview of magic over as long as the dwarf, or at least this tome. Do you read Dwarven?
No.
So you've been looking at this book and you're like, this is a fucking book in Dwarf. Do you?
Nope.
No.
Great.
So we had this conversation before.
Yeah, we were like,
Ah.
we
Hope
all
these are in common.
So the Wumbo book is, because Wumbo is
A universal
it's a
concept.
universal concept. Wumbology.
Yes, indeed.
One does, Wumbo.
As one would.
Yeah, so the book, you're just looking at pictures.
Okay. At this point, I'm gonna go to Bibliosoft.
And, like, you see things like that.
Oh, that's a picture.
Like, you see pictures like that.
Oh.
Of various different arcane symbols and things, all pertaining to what seems to be the use of blood as a means. So yeah, then, but the runes are all dwarven.
Yeah, dwarven to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go to Bibliosoft.
Yes,
Am I said that right?
it's without the T. Bibliosoft.
No.
It's
what I wrote.
PH.
Bibliosoft and be like, ooh, so awkward. I don't read Dwarven.
And she goes, "You want? Oh, that's what happened to your voice."
Weird.
Sorry, I was
Dumbstruck.
I was confused.
Blinded.
My voice gets deeper when I'm dumb.
So why isn't it deeper?
It's hurtful. It's hurtful. Anna. It's hurtful. I heard that. So yeah, do you? I don't know. Do you know anyone who like knows a spell that would help me read Dwarven or something?
She rolls her eyes at this and like walks off into like the stacks and goes like looking here, like humming to herself as she's looking through various books. And she comes back with a book about like this big, and it is basically like Dr. Seuss magic. Like this is like ABC 1, 2, 3 magic.
Okay.
It's in common, but like it's like a child's book. And she's like, maybe this is more your speed.
Well, I mean, I guess is this all you have in common?
And she goes like back and looks for some more and comes back, and there's some pretty high, lofty, mostly of the stuff that they would have in common is they don't have a ton of arcane stuff, period.
Yeah.
So there's like some high level divine stuff. Yes, how to magic with the number 2 for dum-dums.
Fair, yeah.
That's this book.
What I wanted.
And she like looks around. She goes, I guess we could attempt to get some. We could get some spellcasters to come down here and, I guess, cast the spell to let you read these things. That may take a little bit, but we could do that. I guess try anyway.
I mean, I'll see what this says, and if this is what I'm looking for, I don't want to waste your time.
She says, "Well, we'll think about it. What about you again?"
Any idea where I'd find this simple? Or what kind of books would contain it?
No. You kind of. There we go.
No.
A little tiny
Rick's
scroll.
sound is my favorite. I forget what it was. Oh, man. Yes. So she'll look at it again, now that you're not kind of all during this craziness. And you'll see she'll go over and she'll like pull a big tome, and it's just it's a book of runes. So she's kind of they're all dwarven, and like these you've seen dwarven writing, so you know what it looks like. And as she's flipping through this book, it's basically what you know to be dwarven runes. And as she's flipping through and gets about halfway through, it still looks dwarven-esque, but it's ancient, like older. So these are... you can make me a history check.
Pre-dwarven.
14.
Okay, these are Deathek runes. This is like old school, when all dwarves were one group.
Okay.
Before they split off into different clans and spread out across the world, they were all one people, and they used this one set of runes. So now, here in Carrickfern, this is pretty much... They're different clans, but they all pretty much use the same... Most of the dwarves here, but on different continents, there may be dwarves that have different like dialects and the way things are written. Because even in written languages that are the same base language, there's even sometimes
discrepancies.
Right? So she kind of looks through it and starts flipping through these old Deathek runes, and eventually she stops on a couple and she like looks at the thing that you've got. She like goes back and flips a couple pages and makes some notes of this thing, and she tells you, she says, well, the reason I can't find anything specific is from looking at that symbol and doing what little bit of research I can in my knowledge of runes, which is substantial as far as dwarves go.
Is it a rune? Like the
she says, I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely elven.
Okay.
Which is probably why I can't really discern if it's a rune or a symbol or what it might be. So it seems to be elven of nature.
Got any books on elven things? You have like a world section?
I mean, she goes, we do, but it's all in dwarven.
Can you help me out? Or if you're getting the spellcaster people to
Can
help
you
him
do
read.
my research for me?
Well, because I'm sure it would take a lot quicker if she did it. But, like, got those spellcaster people coming to help that guy out. Could you maybe
I might be good.
help? Oh, well.
Well, this, like,
Alright. Well,
dumbbell magic.
well, do you know
I don't know what I'm going for.
which books would have elven content? And then maybe find me, like, a dwarven dictionary?
On dwarven to elvish?
A dwarven to elvish dictionary.
Can you read
I
elvish?
can read elvish.
Okay.
So,
And she goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't have a lot of elven-related things down here.
fair.
We're pretty much keep to our own.
Ethnocentric.
No, that makes sense. It's just on
she
the off
goes,
chance, maybe.
But she goes, you know who'd probably be the best? Elves.
Yeah, probably.
When you
When
say
you put
like
it that way. When you put it that way, I mean, yeah. Alright.
She goes,
well,
I mean, you may find some out and about. There are elves all over the world, but she goes, you're going to probably want to head into the forest, and she'll point to, there's a map. It's got dwarven runes for the names, but you have the actual map here in front of you.
Uh-huh.
So she'll point you over in this direction.
Yay! Yeah, Gunter.
And we gotta get other things done so we can have you guys do stuff. And then I gotta get Jake to make me some music. Damn it.
Yeah, that's
Alright.
true. That's I will.
Cool.
I mean, we have a custom
Alright,
soundtrack
well,
for
at
this
least I have a
custom game.
location to go to.
So she'll say, "Oh, this is the main elven stronghold here in the forest."
Okay.
So obviously they would know,
No
but you may
more.
find other ones out and about. Probably not over here because that's mostly kobolds. But she also tells you that over here in the abbey on the other side of the mountains, they have a great library. Ours is just mostly about dwarven things, and it focuses mostly on what we would need.
That's what makes
But-
it a great library.
Like, this is Rick from across the
City.
the biggest Batman fangirl. Thank you for the follow. I had to shout out your
Whoa.
name because
We like
it's
it.
great. She says, "Oh, they're over here in the abbey. They're it's a monastic order, but they take a big stock in keeping knowledge.
Alright.
So they may be able to." She goes, "There's other, libraries all
About,
across, but
That's probably the best thing.
they're about closest nearby if you don't want to go straight to the source."
Alright. Well, thank you for your help.
You're welcome. And she kind of leaves. She's like, "Well, I'll be here," and she's reading a book. She's like, "So take
Sure.
whatever time you
Like,
need."
I'm done.
Ooh, do you have like a pen and
Yeah.
some parchment I can?
Yeah,
use?
she'll give you that. I mean, there's other. You can search around for other books if you want.
What's the likelihood it's gonna?
You might find something else.
I mean, sure.
You never know.
I'll look around,
Yeah.
but I can't read Dwarven, so I'll look only.
well, you look for the
common
various
and
common
English
books.
stuffs.
Good old English from England.
Yeah,
Yep. Let's see.
the old common.
Ye old English.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Barely.
You find
Fly upon you.
You
Yeah,
do find
yeah,
a
that's
book
right.
as
That's
he's taking
But-
time and reading
Studying.
through.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I am.
Sorry.
Um,
I'm insulting Jake.
These two are the worst.
Renaissance-ly.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are the worst at this table. Tonight, not Pat. Pat's great.
Surprisingly.
Pat's,
Hey,
Hey,
Pat's MVP.
Look at you.
I
I'm
was
proud
saying
of Pat.
for today, Pat's MVP.
most valuable Pat.
Ain't that
He's
easy?
always the. I mean, out of most people at the table, probably always the most valuable Pat.
Yes,
Mm.
I agree.
I would argue.
I would argue.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you find in common Uncle Wimald's bathroom reader.
Oh,
It's basically
alright.
just random trivia in general.
Sure.
So you find that this is in common. if
Anything
you-
else?
Sure.
Pertaining more towards,
Oh, you want specific things?
you
Sure.
know, helpful knowledge.
Whoa. You never know
You
when
don't know
random
what's
trivia.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, is there anything that's more like, hey, this is what you're looking for?
Steal it. Okay, then don't.
A toilet book?
Yeah.
I don't want to get
If I don't find anything else, then I'm gonna sit down with the toilet book and read that. Cause like,
On the
fun
toilet.
facts.
the rogue says. I feel like we shouldn't risk getting on the bad side of the queen for a toilet book.
There is
Not that
one
sense of
where the
adventure.
title
Risk reward.
is written all. This one's in common too, sure. It's written all in capitals. It says all the books. A history of writing in ancient and modern dwarven culture.
Oh. I'm gonna take the toilet book and sit in a corner. I'm just gonna read some facts. When I get bored of that, I'm just gonna sit there and just fire.
In a library.
It's just a little flame.
Sure.
Just a little.
Yeah. Go ahead and you can get you. I'll let you determine. I'll let you find one other book
Oh.
that's in common.
Roll a d30.
Roll me a percentile.
That was not. 87.
Okay. Let's see what you find. Go back up to the top here.
The Book of Magic Swans.
Ooh.
The Swan Princess. The Black Swan. Just
Just
the
those two.
Just swan.
And I
for
think
What
color.
about the
Swan
ugly
dog.
duckling?
Ugly duckling.
And not magic.
Yeah, but a swan.
Technically a swan.
Yeah, but just a normal swan.
But a swan
You
died,
don't
though.
know that.
He learns the
He-
magic.
He had intelligence. He was
Oh,
intelligent enough
he
to be self-conscious.
They were talking ducks. Like,
No, that's like bird speak.
Did he swan dive?
Okay.
Yes.
I lied. You are gonna find 2 books.
okay.
You find A Dark Night spelled with an N. N-I-G-H-T.
Okay.
And you find
The Dark Night.
Alfonso's Guide to Rugs.
Wow. I'll take the Dark Knight one.
Okay.
Bring it over to my potty book and, you know.
The Dark Knight is written by Winston Graves.
Okay.
The book jacket, if you will, reads as follows.
Ooh.
A terse, harrowing account of a man who loses everything to a vengeful spirit in a city dominated by malignant entities. This novella sees the man become a force for good in a metropolis that may not deserve his aid, but nevertheless receives his brand of justice.
Good
I
book.
read it.
Okay.
Or I start reading.
You start reading it. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Yep, I know. Yeah, guidance. Of course.
Still bad.
7.
Hey, I know how that feels.
7, actually, that is enough.
Oh, wow.
You will be able to read this book, but it will take you over the course of a long rest to complete this book.
How long you gonna be in here, bro?
I'm like, I got 10 minutes. I'm done in 10 minutes.
Oh.
You know that it will, that you have time. You're not
Uh-huh.
going anywhere because you gotta wait for.
Alright.
He's waiting. Well, you don't know where these guys went, but you know that Wave is waiting at least a day. So it'll take you a little while to read through this children's book.
It's gonna take me a while to read through a children's book.
Not a while. I
Oh,
said
okay.
a little while.
Okay.
I mean, you
Maybe
go
it's like
through
a
it.
children's textbook.
I
So,
was
like,
told Dr.
it's-
Seuss.
Maybe it's like one of the collections of Dr. Seuss.
Like the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins.
Alright,
It's a longer one.
sure,
Or the Oobleck.
sure.
Those are like full out stories.
Yeah.
It'd take you 15 minutes to read.
15
least.
minutes.
Of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're reading through this, and it is very rudimentary. Like, there are spells. They come in 9 levels. There are also cantrips. Cantrips are free. They sometimes are better than other things, and they're better than hitting stuff with sticks. And it's like a wizard. It looks like Merlin from Sword in the Stone, like
Okay.
pointing at the page, like each time as he's talking about different things.
Very useful.
And it'll go through the different schools of magic, and basically what what each school of magic generally represents, and like a sample spell, like a sample first level spell
Oh.
from like each. It doesn't actually have the actual how to cast it. It's just like
because that would be perfect. Because
Yeah.
I just need 3 first level spells.
it's just like shield.
evocation.
Shield is a first level abjuration spell. Sleep is a first level enchantment spell. Things like that. It doesn't actually describe it. It's just like these are spells
Okay.
that exist in these levels.
Okay.
Inflict wounds is a first level necromancy spell, and so on.
Yeah.
Uh,
I open little wounds. Yeah.
You want to inflict more wounds than that.
I disagree.
She personally, but I mean with the spell.
Yeah.
You would want to
I
do
don't
more
want
than
her to
bitter
hurt me
wounds.
more.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That would be unreasonable.
I get hurt.
Yeah.
that's basically what you're able to gather from
Okay.
the book.
What about the other one, the higher level ones?
The higher level. Oh, okay. So this is. Do I have one for this? Let's find out.
Beginner's Guide to Advanced Astromagics.
That sounds complicated.
That sounds like more than. I mean, ours is pretty smart. Might be able to handle that.
Yes,
What's his
15?
intelligence? Is a 15?
Oh wow, you are pretty smart.
All right, let's see.
Next level will be at least a 16.
Oh wow.
At least a 16.
You're so smart.
The 7 Principles of the Cosmos.
I just want to know like how to cast like 3 cantrips and a couple spells.
The meaning of that.
3 cantrips and a couple spells for dummies.
Oh my god, this is the perfect book!
Wow!
Who would have thought?
I hope it has the 3 I want.
Dead first level wizards spellbook.
Perfect. That would actually have too much information.
Yeah. But he had a real bad intelligence. His parents pushed him into wizard school.
That's fair.
He
He just
wasn't really
did it.
suited for it.
He was actually a barbarian. But was stuck living the life of a wizard until he decided to run away from the academy. But then that like made his mom real pissed off, so she sent mercenaries after him because he stole some of the books to sell
Wow.
to fund his barbarian lifestyle.
That sounds shitty.
Yeah, well, you know, it was an exclusive magic school, and she paid like 60,000 gold for him to go there. So she was, but she was also kind of shitty.
I mean, she should have just asked what he wanted.
Yeah,
All this would have been avoided if she just listened when he said, "Mom, I want to hit stuff."
Yeah, no, she wanted him to be a doctor or a wizard.
Well, I was gonna say with that kind of dough, they must have been a pretty prestigious family. So like, no barbarians.
Yeah.
Don't want to taint the bloodline.
So he ended up running away and joining a barbarian
Not a
clan.
respectable.
Which one?
Perfection.
The yucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the poo-poos, though.
Not the poo poo.
Different.
No, those guys are
Did they join the
mighty
pee-pee?
yucks?
The mighty yucks.
Mighty Yucks. Oh, Pat, you're on fire tonight.
Pat!
No,
Pat.
no, I'm not on fire. I'm on water.
See, now I kind of want to take it back.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Nope.
Just nope.
So this one is like a high level astral projection related thing. But you are able to find one other book, I will say.
Hold on to
Let's
that.
say. This is The Legend of the Solitary Wizard. So, it is a tale of a wizard. But is this the book jacket? Because I have one here. A surprising favorite amongst more scholarly-minded devotees, this tome graces many an arcane nightstand, a fitting place for a tale of time-traveling sorcerer and his celestial lover. But there is stuff in there about casting spells. Like, it describes his process of learning magic.
Okay, cool.
So, make me either an insight or an investigation check, ideally, for your comprehension of this. It will take time. It'll take also a long rest to finish this book. But we'll see how we'll get the check out of the way up front.
Boobity boo.
It looks like it's in the double digits, so you're fine.
Tis.
Yeah, it's 19.
Yeah,
23
so you
investigation.
are more than good. So you'll be able to, if you care to know, it's by Tabitha Hart Ballad. She's the writer, the author. Yeah, so it'll take you a long rest to read this. Both of your books will take a long rest, but at the end you'll have the comprehension that you need and potentially something else.
Cool.
From reading the book.
Alright, so I was wrong. That first book where I said it would be 15 minutes did take me 15 minutes, but it was not the book I needed. I found a new one. It's going to be a while. Are you cool? Oh, and rude. Cool and rude. Got it.
You're cool and blind.
Alright, so that's you guys are reading. And then we're going to come back to you before we jump to a break. You are getting your sweatsuit on, your headband to get ready for training. He takes you...
Touch my toes. Yep. All right.
He takes you basically out back behind his little condo into an area nearby where there's an open field. And he says... And he's kind of sitting there and like... Wave's got like a walking stick. He's like in a chair. Apparently he has sunglasses now because it's stereotypical.
You just pulled them out. Just had them.
He just had them.
All right.
It's Wave. He surfs. That's the thing.
Why not? Right?
Why wouldn't he?
Makes sense for him to
You should
have.
write that down that you have sunglasses.
And he says and he starts telling you. He says, "Oh, if you're gonna become a battle rager, then you're gonna need to. Your body's gonna have to become a weapon. So we're gonna have to train you to beat the shit out of your body and keep going." So he basically starts with basically while he starts setting stuff up, he would like look to Wave and he realizes that he's still blind. So he basically takes you over to a bucket full of sand. Two buckets full of sand. And he says, "Well, I get this set up. I want you to just continually punch into these buckets.
Okay.
Until your hands get raw.
You got it,
And
Danny.
he goes, then we're going to take it and we're going to fill it with gravel after your hands are broken.
Okay.
And then you're going to punch into those.
All right.
So you guys start and the montage music starts playing and he's building something off on the side.
I'm going to make you some tea.
Okay. So you are punching into these basically stone vats of sand, and it's just continual over and over, and it's hardening your knuckles. But you can feel them after a little while of this. Your knuckles start to split open, and you start to bleed. And then after he stops what he's doing, after this has gone on for about an hour of you just punching into this, and he comes back and he dumps out the sand and puts in fine gravel.
Oh,
and your hands are still split open, and he continues to let you punch into here. So you can make me a Constitution saving throw.
that's right. I'm gonna use. No, that wasn't a natural
That
one.
was a natural one.
That was a 7.
You pass out.
Ah.
He splashes. You wake up to a splash of fire spirits in your face.
Oh. Oh.
He's
Oh, my
like,
nose.
It's like, you're gonna have to be tougher than that if you're gonna keep doing this.
I'm
And
gonna
smacks
keep
you
doing
up.
it.
And your hands have sealed a little bit, like they've just started to blister over where the open sores are. And he's like, get back to it, and you got to go punching into the gravel.
I'm gonna punch
So you don't
the
know
gravel.
how long you were out.
Long enough.
But
Is he
you see
blind
that-
still?
He's still. No, he's not. He's not. You can see.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of got
It's like
you.
30 minutes after.
He's kind of got you helping him build. So he doesn't really tell you what it is. He's like, you hold this here, and he starts like
Sure.
putting things together.
All right,
And
back
he's
to punching.
So you're back in, and you're punching into this until you're basically he's listening
I'm
to
mashing this gravel.
He's listening to the rhythm of the speed at which you're hitting these things. And then after that, he comes over and he replaces the gravel with like cobbles
Ooh.
size rocks.
Wonderful.
So they're about I guess pebbles technically. So
Alright.
you're punching into that. And then make me a Constitution saving throw after you're at this for about a half an
I'll try
hour.
it with this one now. That's
So that's how sand is made.
Hey, there we go.
So you
25.
just going through
Got
this.
it. Got the rhythm now.
And you've got that down. So he comes back after this goes on for about another hour of just beating your fists into the ground. He replaces it with rather than rounded stones, these are rough stones.
Oh, they're gonna
So
be
they're-
smooth.
So they are, they're all jagged in all manner of speaking. He'll let you stop, like you guys, before he gets to, he'll let you punch into that for about like 5 minutes. He's like, all right, we're taking a break.
Ah.
So your hands can just start to heal as you guys just have like, and all he gives you for break is fire spirits. There's no
right.
food. You, do you want to have any?
No.
All right. And he just chuckles to himself as he takes a shot of it as well. So he lets you sit there and you basically pound shot for a little bit, and then he makes you go back in and start punching. Yeah, as your hands are burning and starting to heal over. So basically, he's continuing to construct things, and he, after you basically start to destroy these craggy rocks, he comes back and he basically removes the buckets and just puts like 2 things, and he just puts like a layer of iron, and he just makes you punch into this piece of steel just over and over again, and he says you can stop when that bends in half.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm gonna hit the middle then.
Yeah. This
Good
happens.
move.
Thanks.
This
what I got.
happens. This is about 4 hours of Rick just continue. You hear, make me a Constitution save, because you start to. This is just a lot, and he's like, "All right, yeah, you're
23.
You're good. You're going." And you can hear at points he starts to slow down, and you kind of reinvigorate yourself, and you keep going. So about 4 hours. He's been at this. Between punching the various types of gravel, passing out for a little bit, and coming back to. That was probably about 4 hours. As he starts to get like a
little bit.
like a little bit, because it's about a 1.5 to
Okay,
2 inch
little-
thick piece of steel that
A
you're
little
punching. in.
huddle of blood going
Can
on in
I
the middle.
shape water enough to like make a water version of myself?
No, that's too much. That's too much. It says what the parameters are on the
5
spell.
foot.
Yeah. Read me what it says. We'll see what it
Choose
does.
an area of water that you can see within range and that fits within a 5-foot cube. You manipulate it into one of the following. Instantly move instantaneously move or otherwise change the flow of the water as you direct up to 5 feet in any direction. The movement doesn't have enough force to cause damage. You cause the water to form into simple shapes. Can animate at your direction. This change lasts for 1 hour. You change the water's color or opacity. That doesn't matter. You freeze it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like you'd be able to shape. First of all, you don't have enough water to make something that big anyway, because you only have the little bit you have on you. I might allow it momentarily, you could be like, you make the water in a pool look like you, and then it would, because that's more, you're taller than 5 feet anyway. So I'd let you probably do that for a second, and then it would fall back into water, but you don't have a big enough pool to do that.
Right.
You have about,
I'm just
a gallon.
thinking RP wise, because then I could shadow box this water form that
I get what you're saying, but you don't have the water. But you can, and he
made a little punching bag.
He looks at you as you're trying to figure out what to do, and he kind of sees you playing with water, and he just kind of looks at you weird, and he goes and he takes 2 buckets, and he fills them with water. He says, "You look like you're bored. Punch those." And you just punch the buckets full of water. Well, so we're gonna fast forward. So
what are you doing over there? What are you doing?
making a splash.
So basically,
That's how we break the ice around here.
Crash.
I guess, yeah.
so basically, what he's gonna do is after for the intents of timing, we'll basically say that because you guys did all this during the course of the day, you guys, most of the day had gone. So we'll say you guys get about 4 hours. Because we're saying you guys were there taking time, had to find your books. It's basically to the point where you guys would, it's nighttime now-ish. So you get about 4 hours, and you could continue to read, but I'll let you not have to do it. I'll let you do it over a total of 8 hours. Doesn't have to be over the course of an actual long rest.
Okay.
So you got about 4 hours in. You have your place bookmarked in your books, as it were. And if you guys can obviously push through and continue reading through the night, it's just whether or not you want to.
Oh, I'm gonna ask Bibliosoft. Hey, it's getting kind of late. Do you want to call it a night and pick this up in the morning? I'm halfway through my book. I don't want to keep you up.
And
all
she
night.
says, she says it's fine. If you want to stay, you can. If not, we can go find you accommodations. Andy's arranged for you guys to have a place to stay.
Ooh. What are you thinking, Em?
Sleep.
All
Okay.
right. So she will take you guys back out into
It's riveting, but we've been in a dark room for a while.
Yeah, she'll take you guys to just a local tavern where you guys can just stay for the night.
Cool.
You don't get that option.
Oh.
So he tells you, Krag tells you, he goes, well, and he looks at you and he just shakes his head. He's like, I don't care what you do. Whatever you gotta do. And he looks at you and he says, you can sleep if you want. But when I wake up in the morning, this better be bent in half. And he goes and he's like, good night. And he's like, you can stay. He just gestures around. And he goes back into his house and goes to sleep. So it's about 9 o'clock at night and you're still punching away.
Oh, man. Well.
All right.
Punch.
Digging in.
Punch.
So, on a scale of 1 to finished, how close am I to actually having
at
his bed?
at 10 o'clock at night when he leaves to go to bed?
Yeah.
I'd say you're probably at least 30%.
All right. Oh well.
We got time to read.
We got time.
Yeah, we do.
All right. I'm gonna keep punching.
Prepping my spells.
Punch it through the night?
I'm punching through the night. Gotta get this done.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Look at that. 16.
All right, you're able to punch through the night. What do you do? Do you sleep? What's your plan?
No, I'm thinking about Sabine
Sure.
a little bit.
Okay.
Gonna
I'm a
go
little
visit her
preoccupied.
body.
You could if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay, you can go and you can see Samuel's there and he's keep, they're not obviously out on the front lines. He's retired to his chambers where you met him before, and he's got her body in a place of respect, and he's there in his meager library. And you can spend the evening with him, and he'll bore your ear off with talk of technology and analytics and process. But if you make it apparent that you want just time alone, he'll leave you to your time to reflect.
Sure.
Reflect like water.
We're stretching it now.
I know it was a stretch, but I thought it was fun. That's all I care.
Gotta get every last drop out of this, Celine. Just let it go.
You guys are too much.
Squeezing it dry.
So anyway, you're able to reflect and think about what happened and the process and how you guys. Basically, the way I imagine your first time on this combat. You've seen Attack on Titan before, right? Mm-hmm. You know how the first mission they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna bet you how many Titans we can kill," and they all go out and they just get fucked.
Yeah.
That's basically your first mission.
I got that feeling.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going for that. To give you an idea.
Everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's basically what happens.
He just got eaten. He was the main character. He's dead.
Yes, the bean comes back and she can turn into a Kuto.
Oh no. This is not as I'm Kermit the Frog.
Anyway.
Running terror.
So you're able to take the time to reflect over.
I will reflect, but then the memories come flooding back, so I leave.
Alright, fair enough. And you can eventually, through conversation, find your way to where these guys are staying.
Puddle jump back.
Yes, sure, why not? And basically, you can find these guys as you retire. You have your own like little cube of rooms in the corner of a
Dwarven beds. Not the best.
You guys can retire
They rock.
for the evening, to rest and all that good stuff.
You got a good roll.
You don't care, you're stoned.
God, it's so bad. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Boy,
I
you
love
love it.
Like water.
You guys could see each other. Did you want to? I mean, I don't know if you guys just went straight to bed.
Did you find your dude?
Because he's not there.
Oh, you're
I'm
not there. You're
He's
still
punching.
I'm punching.
He's
So-
punching. He's
Hey,
punching.
Wave. How was your day?
So it was eventful.
All right. What'd you do?
Went to Sabine.
Who's that?
One of my high fives.
Oh, sorry.
One of the homies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know their names. How's she doing? Almost there?
I think so.
Hey.
Cool.
Getting there. And Brick is punching metal.
Purposefully?
Yeah. It's training.
That seems like
It's
Rick.
gonna be a battle rager.
That's different. Dad told me about them. They're also known as axe idiots.
Oh.
Yeah.
11.
It's intense. They're like covered in spikes and they punch people to death. They're really mad.
Going to a rage.
Man, sounds
All
about
right,
right.
so
From what I
advantage.
know
You gotta
about,
make me another strength with advantage.
the brick.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Well,
24.
all right. We've had a very
So it's
eventful
about
day of
So
reading.
eventful.
We read so much.
And
So,
you had a
are you
little
gonna go
court
back
period where you
to
kinda,
see
shook it
Brick
out,
tomorrow?
And
Yeah.
you're about 50%.
All right, cool. We still have some reading to do.
Keep going.
Oh, we can't take him out of the library.
No.
Never mind.
But one thing that I thought of is that we didn't arrange to meet up after we're all done with our business. So when you go back to talk to Brick, do you guys want to meet here tomorrow when we're done with all of our stuff?
Sounds good.
Downstairs in the tavern?
Mhm.
Maybe have some whatever they serve for drinks?
I have tea.
Oh, or that. We can do tea.
A nice tea is always nice.
Yeah.
Now you don't want to see them go through it? See if they can handle it?
No.
Sometimes
Not after my
what
experience.
my mom would do, she would make tea and then wait for it to get cold. Put a little lemon in it.
That's
It was
so
delicious.
weird.
No, it's real good.
Yeah?
She called it cold tea.
Super inventive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You could probably do that real quick.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. Cool. Night. Good seeing you. See you tomorrow.
All right. So you guys go to sleep and get a nice, relaxing rest
Such a good rest.
while Rick the Brick punches through the evening. At about 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, make me another strength check or athletic strength check.
Natural 20.
Oh man,
Yeah, buddy.
You just find for
The rhythm.
like, as you
You're
start.
in a
Yeah,
rage.
you've been at this for a while, and you start to find the rhythm, and perhaps it's your dwarven heritage or what. You're not sure what it is, but you basically start to see the metal. You start to you see it almost on like an X-ray molecular level. And you start to see where the slight impurities are. This is only steel. This is nothing too crazy. And you basically start to find like the points, and it almost slows down in your brain as you continue to hit. You find the right points, and it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and you are about you're like 90% through this, and you've got at least 4 hours left to go.
All right. Well, there's no reason to stop now.
Sure.
You're on a
Get it
roll.
done first.
All right. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Give me one more strength check.
Oh, a 7.
Oh.
Damn.
All right.
Ooh, all right. Hat trick, my friend. Here we go. Oh, no, a 10. That's still a 10.
10 is something.
10's better than
Not
7.
nothing.
No.
Better than 0.
You
Yeah.
tried twice, Pat.
I'm doing my best, man. I can't roll better than
There's
I
no
can.
helping you.
Yeah,
Can't roll better than you roll.
you can't roll better.
You basically, it's you hear stirring inside at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'll give you one more check.
All right.
Stirring tea.
All right, there we go. 18.
Okay. So,
Yeah, boy.
he wakes up and he hears the pounding of metal. So basically, at about 6 o'clock in the morning, you had it bent in half.
Right.
Basically, down to the point where it's touching the ground. You still haven't stopped. What does this look like after? It's been bent in half. 2 hours later, what does it look like?
Oh yeah, no, I've been smushing it into 1 4-inch piece of steel as
okay.
opposed to just in half. I want it bent over. I want
Okay.
it 90,
Want it
100.
to kiss?
Yeah, exactly. I want
Okay.
I want to
Tips to
close
kiss.
that book.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, so we'll say it around this after breakfast. You guys head back
Mhm.
to the library. You head back to find him.
Yes.
And at which point he comes walking out in the morning in like a fuzzy robe with a mug full of fire spirits. And he comes out.
Oh, thank God.
And he looks at you. And he just goes back in and comes back out with another coffee mug full of fire spirits. And he sees this and he's like, it's pretty good. All right. So, next step. And you now notice, because you've been so
And this
focused
next
on
is
this, he has basically built a series of stone and metal square archways. And in there is about, in the court, this is what he's been doing this whole time. There is about, let's see. There is about 15 of these.
Oh, all right.
And he looks at you. And he stands over next to the first one. And he said, and you can see that there is a piece. They're basically built into the side of the mountain.
Okay.
They use that's basically the left structure.
Right.
And it's just basically a thick, from what you can tell, slab of just wood.
Oh, great.
And he stands next to it, and he tells you, stand there. And there's you're about 15 feet back from it.
All right.
And he says, run as fast as you can and throw your body through this.
Okay.
So go ahead and make me, you run full speed and make me an athletics check.
All right. Here we go. This is the thing I'm good at. So, 13.
You run full speed into this thing, and you crack into it, and it feels as if it's made of solid steel. And you fall back on your ground. It opens up the sores on your knuckles, just because of the impact as you hit the ground.
Yeah.
And he just kind of and he like goes around the other side, takes a look at it, comes back around the front, and goes, disappointed.
Wow.
And he says, step aside, and he pushes you off to the side. And he runs at this. You haven't seen him move. He basically downs another full coffee mug of fire spirits. And he runs, and you realize that as he starts to move, like he's about 30 feet back from at this point, and he starts to go, and it's like creaky, staggering steps. But after about 15 feet, he seems to start to get his feet under him, a speed that you would not think someone of this age would have. And that last 15 feet, he picks up immense speed and just barrels shoulder through and just splinters this wood
like that.
entirely.
Owen Wilson, wow.
Wow. And he like rolls to his feet, and you see that like that was for show, but it also like he's hurting. Like that was not. And he goes, all right, there's 14 more of these. Get through all of them.
All right.
Make me you make me a perception check. Because you helped build these. You can have it. How'd you do?
17.
All right, so you notice. You don't notice this, but you notice this. Because you helped him build the first one. That he built it in such a way that there was a sheet of steel behind the first door that he built a catch to recess it into the mountain.
This guy's a jerk.
So when he ran into it, he ran into the piece of metal behind the wood, and then to show him how it's done, he slid the metal away to break through it.
Gotcha.
But only you know that, and only him and you are the only two that know that. So there's 14 more of these wooden. They're about they're increasing, starting at 6-inch thick pieces, like slabs of wood, and you have to throw your body through them. And they increase. The last one is 12 inches thick, just piece of wood. And you need to hurl your body through each of them. And he says, "You make it through that last one, I'll show you how to make this armor."
All right. That's all right.
Okay.
Make short work of these.
Alrighty.
Then I want to go into a rage, and I just want to hit him, and then just like keep going, straight on through.
All right. So go ahead and make me an athletics check with advantage.
All right. Don't roll like garbage.
There we go. I know. 20.
You barrel through the first one. Go ahead and make me another check.
23.
Okay. You through the second one.
Here we go. 24.
All right. That's through the third one. I keep track of these here.
All right, here we go. Right through number 4. That is a 23 again.
Yeah, you're through the fourth one.
All right, then the 5th one is a 26.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10.
Number 7 is a 26 again.
All right. You are on.
This is number 8. Number 8, I got a 17.
Number 8, you stop. It stops you on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4,
punch
5,
it.
6, 7,
Punch the wall.
8.
Not happy. Once you have momentum, it makes it easier.
Sure. What is the high? What's your athletics right now?
8. So 28 is the highest I could get.
Good to know. Okay. So you are on number 8.
Going
So
again.
you back up. These are all splintered. You see there's a pretty... The first few, the first 3 are just like gone.
Yeah.
They're splintered. The remaining, I guess, 4 at that point, there's a brick size hole blasted through these wooden walls. So go ahead and back up and give me it again.
Here we go again. 22.
Stop into this one again. You're like,
I can do better.
Yeah.
I can do better. Here we go. Nope. 18.
You're starting to bunch, like it's starting to break, inward now. So go ahead and give me another one.
I'm gonna give you another one. Here we go. There we go with a 19.
You've actually structurally damaged this one enough where you're able to break through it. Although it does stagger you a bit because it was a little harder. So you're on to the next one. Go ahead.
Here we go.
This would be a great time to have the person with guidance next to you.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, hey,
23.
you can do it, buddy.
Yeah, 23 is enough.
You can do it, buddy.
I feel well guided. 24.
Yep. Break through the next one.
All
You've
right.
got
Do it,
4
buddy.
left.
4 left. Here we go. Thanks. Oh, that's
Natural 20.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
28.
Through the next one.
Ah.
3 left.
It's working, John.
26.
Yep.
Ah.
2 left.
22. No, sorry, 24.
Yep, that's it. Last one.
You can
Here
do
we go.
it, buddy.
Here we go. I'm gonna get it. Here it goes. It goes down. 23.
No! You crashed into that last one.
I'm gonna headbutt it.
Alright.
Ah.
Alright, give me another one.
23 again.
Another. You're halfway through this 12-inch thick piece of slab of wood.
Alright, here we go. Take it out this time. Nope. 16.
You're starting to slow down a little bit.
Ah, my head hurts.
Yeah.
Tommy can do it.
You can do it, bud.
Oh, with that advice, I'm sure that I'll get a 13.
I thought you could do it.
His heart really wasn't in it.
Alright. I'm gonna drink my Hearth's mead.
Okay.
Here we go.
Alright.
I'm gonna hit that door over there. It's gonna be a 22.
I will give you a d6 for the hearth's mead.
Alright.
You're gonna need it.
22. 24.
Stuck.
Oh.
This is pretty difficult.
Ow.
You've been you are just a bloody mess.
Wave, help me out. I'm physically stuck.
Pull him out.
You pull him back out.
Strength.
You're just no, he's fine. You pull him out.
Alright.
You're basically a bruise. You were a walking bruise at this point. You were doing good till this last one where you've just been battering yourself against it. You got one more. You're about half. You're like you can start to see light on the other side.
Here we go through the tunnel. My tunnel vision. I got it right here. Here we go. I go. I take an extra 15 feet
Okay.
back, and I'm gonna dash. I'm just
Alright.
going straight through this sucker right here with a 24. Oh no, sorry, with a 26.
That's the number.
Ah.
As you break through it, you just kind of land.
I go to sleep right here.
I pick him up and put him somewhere comfortable.
And as you go to pick him up, he goes, "Oh, you don't pick him up. Leave him there." And you hear like footsteps of like shambling footsteps as you lay on the ground. And he comes over and he just pats you on the back excessively hard. And he's just like, he goes, "Oh, you did good, kid. I think we might have a battle rager in you yet." And then he puts down a mug of fire spirits next to your face and walks away.
Later.
And you are just like...
Take a piece of wood. I'm just gonna lay on that
Yep.
like a pillow.
And I think at this point we're going to take a short break. Because Rick the Brick is a mess.
Victoriously a mess, though.
Yes. So we will be right back, guys. Thank you. Stick around. We'll be... it'll probably be a relatively short break. I say that. I'm probably lying. But we will be right back. So we'll see you guys in just a bit.
After this message from our sponsors.
If only.
We
Remember when we used to be fake sponsored by Tragos?
they don't
Exist anymore.
They don't exist anywhere in the world.
But that means we can
Really?
claim sponsorship from
We
them, can't we?
physically, apparently, Ted was saying that the people at Beer World like got a call one day and someone was like, "Hey, we have all this stuff you could sell," and they were like, "Yeah, sure." They have no internet presence.
Nope.
You can't find them. And even the people at Beer World were like, yeah, I don't know. This is what we have.
we have these pallets, and then when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So
Just a quitter.
all right. So we're gonna jump back in. So you guys are continuing to read.
Read.
You're hanging out, watching, and you just watched Rick the Brick basically turn his body into a big old bruise.
I'm impressed.
Yes. So
Dedication.
yes, a true rage of battle seemed to have taken over his body and his mind and most of his extremities. As
That's why they call me Rick the Brick.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're not there.
He barrels a ton of bricks.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't see it, but yeah.
I wasn't there. I don't know. Still
So
not there.
Take his word for it.
we'll go back to you guys since you're reading. We'll say-
Riveting.
yes.
I mean, I'm reading about Batman, so like, I'm cool with it.
Yes. So, you guys.
The villain is the Jester.
Yeah, you guys finish your books.
Ooh.
With his
Um,
sidekick, the
what did I tell
Harlequin.
you?
Exactly.
Yours was the solitary.
Yeah.
Legend of the Solitary Wizard. So one, you have a brief understanding of magic.
Oh, cool.
You also feel exceptionally lighthearted having read this tale of the Solitary Wizard.
Nice.
In doing so, you would immediately remove one level of exhaustion
Good.
if you
Done.
had one, but you don't. Also gain 5 temporary hit points.
Nice.
Cool.
This only happened once,
Okay.
but the tale brought such joy to you that you have 5 temporary hit points.
Just found the flaw with this character sheet that I found that I really liked.
No room for temporary hit points.
Temporary hit points.
Well, there you go.
Put it in my book.
I
Hopefully.
thought he was going
What?
to say his butt.
Put it off to the side somewhere.
All right,
Let me see.
you.
Oh, me?
This book grants you a single knowledge charge. You may expend this book's knowledge charge at any time to have advantage on a single wisdom saving throw against an undead creature you are aware of and able to
God.
perceive as being undead.
On a wisdom throw?
Wisdom
no,
saving
stop.
throw against an undead creature. Justice.
Okay.
There you go. So, yeah.
You're right.
Do I get anything
the
from my
flaw.
potty book? From the potty trivia book?
Sure. Let's see. What would you get from a dwarven toilet trivia book? That
Eventually
is-
a small splash. It was a shitty joke, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Said joke.
Oh, Pat. What are you doing? Oh, he brought his A game tonight. Oh, man, that is tricky. I hadn't really put in a lot of thought about what
That's
you
fine.
would
You don't
obtain.
need to.
No, I will get you something
You will get some knowledge.
from that dwarven potty book. That you spend a significant amount.
Some facts that never leave my brain.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that will stick with you.
Like the average male dwarf's beard grows 3.5 inches a year.
Sure, let's say that.
That,
You have that now.
I have that now. I have that knowledge.
That is a thing
Mhm.
that you now know.
It is considered an insult in dwarven culture to throw used fingernails at other dwarves.
Yep.
That's a deadly insult. It's like a challenge for like a duel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
You know that dwarves also, at least here, Carrick Fair, they punch each other, anyone really, on the shoulder if anyone sneezes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The punch to someone else's shoulder is to stop the evil spirits from
Spreading.
spreading.
Yeah, you gotta
Makes
punch them
sense.
back into people.
Makes sense.
So
Mhm.
it's another useful tidbit. So you know if you were to sneeze here in Carrick Fair and around a group of dwarves, you'll probably get pummeled.
I want somebody to sneeze.
So game mechanic for sneezing.
No, when you sneeze in real life, you sneeze in game. We've decided that.
Oh.
You sneeze in real life. You sneeze for,
For
real.
real. Sneeze in game, you sneeze for real. You just gonna start saying sneeze.
Sneeze.
That's how this works.
I cast suggestion. Sneeze.
Ooh.
I can't sneeze on command. Like, I can make the noise, but it's not a real sneeze. Like, I chewed.
While
I-
Message in your brain.
No.
you hear it in your brain,
No.
while
There's 3 people in the room. I know it's you.
while this is happening, internet, if you guys have any other tidbits for
Dwarven
that
tidbits.
Ember would learn from her dwarven toilet trivia book, you can go ahead and throw them out in the chat. I will add them to the list
As long as they're not overtly ridiculous.
as we continue our story.
Wait, what were the ones that you gave me? What's about the beard?
Average
Write
male
it down.
beard grows 3.5 inches a year.
Yep. And throwing fingernails is a deadly insult.
And then the sneezing and punching.
Yes.
Um,
All dwarves are allergic to macadamia nuts.
Yep.
It's a genetic thing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
White chocolate macadamia nut cookies are delicious.
Wow. I
Mhm.
wouldn't know.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's true.
Take my word for it. You're missing it.
You're not even here.
No, I'm not. It's not in character voice, and this time I didn't forget.
Oh, okay.
So,
I can't tell.
you just turned into Batman?
Yeah, just a little.
Where's Margaret?
Eating macadamia nuts.
Oh,
After
she's
reading
gonna
my
die,
book,
she's
that's
gonna
all I'm
die.
talking.
Okay. You can't tell because it's a book, but that is what the tone of voice you feel that the protagonist has as you
I
read
read it
the
in
book.
my head.
Yeah, that's
Justice.
Where's Margaret? Or Rachel, whatever her name is.
Margaret was from our one shot.
Katie
Oh, okay,
just
we
said
always say
OMG, hashtag where's Margaret.
Hey!
She was there for that.
That's
Yeah,
right,
she
she was.
That whole scenario.
That was fun. That might have been that and skittering. Those are the 2 best parts of the whole thing.
And your voice for your character.
Oh! Watched too much Digimon before that one.
That makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
Tentamon.
Yep.
That was my guy's name.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Uh,
Oh man,
Alright.
good times.
yeah.
Bad module. Good times.
Good times.
Agreed.
If you guys want to go look up our Curse of the Full Moon 2-shot on YouTube, that's what we're talking about. It's interesting for what we just said.
It's hilarious.
The module itself is pretty bad.
But that's okay.
That's where I learned that AdventureAweek.com adventures are really bad. Don't spend your money. They're also horribly formatted, and it's just a disaster. Save your money. Congratulations, you are level 3. As are you.
Woo!
You think it's probably the toilet trivia and the study of Wumbo that did it.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Am I now an expert on wombology?
Can you describe one Wumbo in 6 or less words?
Describe it? Why
Yeah.
would I need to describe it when you know what
That
it
was
is?
more than 6.
female dwarves use mint leaves to keep their britches fresh.
Ooh. It's alluring.
That is true.
They like the tingle.
Don't we all?
All right, so back to you.
All right.
Is there? You guys finished reading, so go ahead and update your character sheets to level 3.
Nice.
And right, so back to you guys. Hold off on the HP. We got a thing we're gonna do at the end.
Oh yeah.
So you come to an indeterminate amount of time later, and again the fire spirits are right there. This is about it for that bottle. I think this bottle got a lot of longevity.
I feel like he had a second bottle
He probably did.
He probably did.
by himself.
Yeah, he's sitting there and he's just like in a chair, like hands on his knees, just like watching as you like slowly start to get up.
Hi.
How you doing?
Bad.
He goes, yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Looks like you had a bit of. He goes, but you did it. I mean, this isn't exactly. This usually is a longer process over multiple weeks and months, but you know, I don't know how much longer I am for this world.
Are you saying I got the crash course?
And
Just change the name of this campaign to like something with the word pun in it.
yeah, at this rate.
Or it should just be a pun.
I don't get that one.
A pun.
Anyway,
They're
about.
not there.
I just like to punch.
No.
I'm trying to update my character.
Okay.
Anyway, so he says, yeah, it's, well, as I was saying, we gotta try to get you some armor is the first step.
Armor, man. Just walking around in clothes. It's been terrible.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
He, like, pokes you.
Ow. Yep.
He just giggles.
Yeah.
So, it's not really a giggle, it's more a chuckle. He says, well, I guess you gotta get me down to the, over to the forge, and we'll bring these manuscripts, and we'll see what we can do.
Yep. Alright, you wait here 1 sec. I'm gonna go steal a wheelchair
Okay.
from the retirement home. Like, oh, hey, guy, how's it going? I just need this. Alright, cool. Oh, yeah, alright.
And you're just gone before he can actually talk to you.
Yeah.
I hear, go fish! Just the sound of
my leg.
yes.
Sean.
You do hear that from inside the retirement home.
Come on, Wave. Let's get out of here. These old people get rowdy.
Okay. So yeah, you make your way back to Krag with the wheelchair, and he sees it. And he says, "Fuck you! I ain't going in that."
All right, that's
and
fair.
he's just like hobbling. I mean, he seems and like he drinks some more fire. He's just got like a half of a bottle, another bottle from somewhere, and as he drinks it, his gait seems to improve slightly.
Right, yeah. Drunk enough to
To
ignore some of the pain.
yeah, so he's like, "Wait, come on, man." He starts leading you, even though he's way slower than you. And you guys start making your way slowly across the city to
I'm a slow walker anyway, just naturally.
not surprised. So you basically make your way over the course of probably an hour. Slowly make your way back to. I guess he'll start heading towards the forge, but you think it might not be a bad idea to let Andy know that what's going on.
Yeah, I'll go inform her.
As you go, I mean, he'll go with you.
Alright.
He's like,
Up
the
the
steps.
stairs. Slinky, slinky.
Oh, he's taking his
everyone
time.
loves a slinky.
But you guys make your way up to the top of the steps. And he's like, he's got his hands on his knees.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like stretching. He's got, you can see there's some pain, and he's like flexing his hands a little bit. He's like, all right. There's another set of stairs. And he makes his way up to where Andy and the council is. You guys are already up there. He's like sidestepping his way up. He makes his way up to the top, like Damper from Ocarina of Time. He's like, but like going up the stairs like that. But instead of a shovel, it's just a bottle. So he makes his way up to the top. He's winded. And you see the council has been at attention, obviously seeing you two, and are awaiting his arrival. And you have the manuscript, or whoever has the manuscripts.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes his way over to the table, and he kind of like flattens them out. And he says, he goes, all right, here it is. This is all of my ancestors' process for how to forge adamantine into a variety of different things. He says, I ain't going to be any use to you with these hands. So I take your strongest, best smiths, train them on this, and this should be able to, you should be able to get what you need. And, you know, the the council's in very much agreement, and Andy's very excited. She's like, "Oh, this is wonderful," and she looks to you and she says, "Well, I'm glad you were able to find him." So, and she's just like, "Oh, you look like you've seen some better days. You have a rough night."
No.
And you see him like, and he drinks some more.
He's completely insane.
And she's like, it's wonderful to see you here. To him, and he goes, "Oh, you could have all this." And he like picks him back up off the table, and they're like,
We
Bibli-
leave those there.
yeah. So she's just like, he says, "Oh, you could have all these, but I gotta oversee something first." He goes, "This one, look at him. He's a fucking bruise," and he pokes you with the spike in the shoulder. And he's like, "This one needs some fucking armor. He's a wreck." He goes, "So I would make to my humble queen." And again, he's bargaining with the thing that could win the war for them. He's like, Did you get this one a suit of armor first before we go too gung-ho on this?" And she says, "I ain't got much left in me in these old bones, but I can sit down there in that forge and I can sit over the shoulder of any of the smiths you got there, and as a final service to my people that I can sit there and make sure they're doing it right." And he goes, "As long as I've got a couple of bottles." She's like, "Oh, all right." He's like,
This is wild. I feel like I'm feeding into a bad habit.
You're not sure how many bottles he had normally, but you brought that one and it seemed to have triggered something.
Before then, he was an alcoholic without alcohol.
Now it's
So
just...
an angry old man with a get out sign on his door.
Now he's a happy old man with a get out sign on his door.
Yeah. So, she'll be like, she's like, smile, like, it's like the council's like, like taken aback a little bit, but Andy seems pretty like the balls on this guy.
Smash.
And she's like, "All right, old timer, sure, we can make that work." So she says, she looks to you and she says, "Our cleric should be back relatively soon, so we should be able to do what we promised for your friend."
Looking forward to it.
She says, "If you want to wait here," and like Samnel is there as well, and he says, "Oh no, she's ready. She's whenever."
Sure.
And she says, "So if you just want to wait here in about probably 15 minutes or so, the cleric should be here, and you can be here when she wakes up."
Okay.
And then Andy will also take, because you left it with the body, the glaive head, and will show you that they've now forged a mithril haft to attach to the.
Nice.
Mithril really doesn't have a huge use for dwarves.
Still
They're more,
cool, though.
yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool. So she goes, "This one should probably not burn up in any fires," and like lays it next to her.
Give him the butt.
She
They love the butt.
She's only level 1, but maybe she didn't get the experience from the whip fight. She didn't make it through.
That's fair. She, at some point in her life, she might be able to, though.
Give him the butt.
Count as magic.
Where's Margaret? Margaret was the butt. That was the butt
Same game?
episode.
Yeah, always after the butt.
The butt
I
was
was
in
always-
Lewis.
I was always hit on the butt.
Yeah.
Miss, hit
Butt.
for the D4.
Yep.
Yep. So she leaves you there with Samnel to await the appearance of the cleric, and you slowly make your way back down the stairs.
Throw a little more.
Oh god.
Wrong campaign.
Wrong campaign.
And you and Krag and Dan or Andy, I keep on saying Danny. Andy will make your way over to basically now you see there's more of a regular supply line. Actually no, it's down in we cleared out the other end, I forgot. So you guys make your way down the slope into the forge, and you see that the forge is lit, and there's movement
Nice.
down around there.
Alright.
So he'll make his way down, and they will say to you, and he'll flip through the different. He'll walk over and you see him like basically with a bottle, like as if it were a cane, like knocking some of the other smiths on the head. And he's like, "Oh, we're doing this now." Because you see that there's like some sort of malformed like gauntlets and like sort of a breastplate, maybe that's not really functional because
it's all garbage.
Yeah, it's basically throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
And he says, "All this, throw it back in the forge. Remount this. This is pointless." And they're like, And he's like, and he wraps him on the head with the spike. Not enough to break the skin, just enough to
hurt.
cause some pain. And he's like, "We're following this now." And he holds it up to the light, to the fire, and he like stretches them all out and starts tacking them up. Like, here's the hammer, here's the, all these different things. And then he rolls out all of the Battle Rager ones, and he points to you and he shows you the different options.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "So, which one do you, and he kind of like looks at the queen and he's like, so which one can he have? And which one do you want?"
I mean, there's only if I have a choice, the plate mail. I mean, look at it. Look at that. That's pretty badass. As a point. Also, secondarily, that's probably gonna take like a ridiculous amount of adamantine. So whatever works.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
Oh, this is good. -1. Here we go.
8. Cause
we gonna.
I'm gonna step in.
You're not there.
Oh, I'm not there. No.
You do have one inspiration left.
No.
That's a good one.
This one. Ignore the damage of one attack against you. This is gonna be for a crit.
That's fair.
yeah. Well, the thing is that I want it. And when you think about it like that, I mean, that's all I got.
So he kind of like looks at you, and he smiles and drinks some more, which is probably a bad idea because there's a forge right there.
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
just highly volatile.
Oh
liquid,
yeah, 100%.
but he doesn't seem to care.
His breath is flammable.
Yeah, pretty much. And he looks at at Andy, and she's just like, and he's like, and he says, he looks to you and he looks to her and he says, "All right, what about this?" He says, "We can get, if she'll allow it, can get you this armor. It's gonna take some time to make, but we can get you that. But at some point you'll have to come back so we can truly finish your training and get you
Knuckled up.
and get you to complete the Rite of the Rage."
All right.
And he says, and he looks to Andy and he says, "Not only will I oversee your forging, if you want, I guess I could come out of retirement and try to train a new force of Battle Ragers." And she's like, she's never seen. Actually, she would have seen these in action. Some of them. The majority of the rest of them fell at.
Forge Wars.
No, there was the first incursion really with the Kuatoa, which I gave a name, but I can't remember. Siege of Terror. That's when they Kuatoa brought a dragon.
Ooh.
A deep dragon. Yeah, didn't go so well.
No. It's hard to grapple a dragon.
Yeah. Okay. So Krag is surprisingly convincing in his drunken state, and Andy is apparently surprisingly receptive, as in a 17 to a 3.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So she will agree to that. It'll take you time to make it.
Yeah.
Probably another day.
Okay.
That's basically all of the time is devoted to this.
All right.
Selfish,
100%.
but
I am selfish, so
that is true. So you will get this
But I only get
at the end of the next day.
all right, fantastic.
And you can go ahead and count yourself as level 3.
Level 3 barbarian.
Wave.
Yep.
This cleric, this female cleric, comes back, and you see she's got a fairly sizable diamond in front of her. And she comes and she kind of looks to you and says, "Is this the one?"
Yes.
And she walks over and she undoes sort of the wrappings to expose, and you can see her skin is just charred and cracked. And she starts to say some words of healing, and she basically crumbles the diamond and just sort of like sprinkles the dust over the body, and she begins to continue to chant. And now I'll have to roll to see if she destroys her soul, because Jake said that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, Neil.
Okay.
Prayer.
More or less.
Let's see. All right. So let's see. Death and returning. Gotta see if she destroys her soul. Fragile. Oh, she's gonna make a check.
Show me, what does YES spell?
Yes.
But what does EYES spell? Ah, good, good. Most people don't get that.
What do they say?
Yes?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
You can try it on other people
All
who
right.
are less smart than you.
I spell real good.
You do?
I'm the best at spelling. No, I'm not the best at spelling.
Good enough.
You see as the kind of divine light begins to raise up all around her, emanating from this diamond dust. You watch as the skin that was cracked and burnt begins to sort of flake away. And underneath that is her, once this was now charred skin, is now a fresh crimson red skin beneath, which is her regular skin color, so that makes sense.
Thought she was blue.
Did I say she was blue?
Red
You're
eyes,
blue.
tiefling blue. That's what I put.
Maybe she was just sad.
She had a blue cloak that she wore all the
Maybe
time.
That's what it
You're
was.
blue.
Blue because of death.
I am.
No, she has a blue cloak.
Okay.
He just
Blue
wrote
cloak.
blue.
Alright.
That's where blue came from. Does it,
It says red eyes, tiefling blue.
Hey, don't forget the comma.
Red eyes, tiefling, comma, blue. All in parentheses with a check mark next to it. Sabine.
Alright. So anyway, and you watch as her red eyes begin to open, and as she kind of slowly sits up, she seems to be pretty
She's pretty.
she seems pretty beat was what I was going
Oh,
for.
okay.
Jake beat me to didn't let me have a breath to continue the story beat before he jumped in there.
He wanted to get his joke in.
Yes. And you watch as the rest of the kind of charred skin flakes away. And she kind of looks around a little bit, and she's brought back to life, and she looks to you, and she looks to the cleric, and she's just like, she just is in all manner. She's pretty tired too, since she's got a -4 to everything.
Hey, Sabine.
And she kind of like rubs her eyes. Sorry, I was making sure that wasn't.
It's a text.
Oh,
She's like,
She's been dead for like 3 days.
Yeah.
It's a long
A
time.
lot of shit can happen.
you feel like they look better as gold eyes? Sure, we can make them gold eyes. They're gold eyes.
yeah,
Let's
we already
see.
have somebody with red eyes.
Yeah.
Well,
Two
mine are
people.
kind of goldish.
On fire.
2 people.
Yeah, you.
You got red
When I'm
eyes
wearing
with your
mine.
cool helmet.
Yeah.
Mine's like a gradient of gold and red.
We'll say they're gold eyes. That's
Or
fine.
straight gold though.
Pupilless
Got them money
gold
eyes.
eyes.
She's lit.
And she just. Fuck you, Jake.
But
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Expect that from Pat. Don't expect that from you.
this is the game of
I got
puns.
you, fam.
I hate you so much, Jake.
Is fam good? Do I want to be fam?
Yes.
Yeah. It's lit fam.
Yeah,
Is
bro.
that good too?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not
So
make an
she
issue.
sits up
So the
and
damage is negative.
she seems generally bewildered, and she just says to you,
Goodness.
"Thank you." And she hands.
Did
Somehow
anyone
that
tell me
blue
what
cloak
you said?
survived the fire. She hands it to you as thanks. And as you don this blue cloak, it billows in the wind, even though there is no wind. Because the chat really wanted you to have that.
Thanks, chat.
Is it waving?
It's waving.
Oh god.
What? His name's Wave. Yes, that was the joke.
No, I got it, and it got an oh god out of me.
This
That's all I want.
pet
That's
is
all you ever want.
this is a cloak of billowing. You can use a bonus action to make it billow dramatically. For the first time, it just does it.
Alright, well, right now, I think it needs to be calm. I think we need calm.
When it right now. And you witness this act of divine magic that healed your once dead friend, returned her to life, and she is getting her bearings and getting used to things as you get up and start to, help her up to get her to off of this kind of sort of table that she's been on where she was prepared to be resurrected. And you will also level up to level 3.
Bam.
Wait.
All right.
So, it was a lot of interesting things for tonight. We had a lot of punching, a lot of running through walls,
A lot of puns.
more puns than were
A lot of
necessary.
reading.
A lot of reading.
It's the right number of puns.
I'm not sure there actually is one.
You could say there was a
Agree,
ton
disagree.
of puns, and ton is wave in Irish. So.
That's a stretch.
Anyway.
That's a stretch.
Anyway.
He was number 5.
Anyway.
So, with that, everybody, we're pretty much going to bring this episode to a close. Again, as a reminder for the people in the chat,
I could tell.
Evrand will go on hiatus for 1 week, as we decided that the last Tuesday of every month will be Evil Game run by Jake. So we have had 1 Evil Game so far. Jake will run the next Evil Game. That'll be a week from today.
That's right.
So be sure to come out and see how things go. We were relatively tame as far as an Evil campaign goes.
Yeah.
That
It's going to change.
is probably going to change relatively soon. So if you want to see us play evil characters, what?
Me and Pat going for the guards.
And the family that I'm with right now.
Like, you're gonna go murder them?
I know, I'm going to exploit the fuck out of them.
Oh, I meant like once the murdering
Like,
starts.
you guys need to leave, or you're going to die, and then when you
Well,
come
that's the
back,
guy's
you're going to
lady
be
love,
grateful
isn't
that
it?
I didn't kill you.
The family
Or
that
we're gonna
he's
fucking
with
kill
right
you.
now. The chick from there is
Yeah.
Yeah,
the,
that's-
the
we're gonna
Lord dude,
Yeah.
We're gonna
lady
use
love.
her, yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna use her
it's-
to lure the
We
prince
gotta
out.
lure them away
Yeah.
so we can kidnap him
That
and
is-
then go on a
Send her
murder
away.
spree.
That
Be
is,
like, hey, this is where she went.
Yep.
Send them right to the bad guys.
that is the plan.
That
Pretty
is
much.
Yeah.
the plan.
So
So,
I'm gonna put my axe in the guards' faces.
Spoiler alert, shit's gonna happen.
Oh,
That's
I
what I'm
want to
gonna try
talk
and
to you about
It's
a
going
thing
down
that I want your
real.
character to make me.
okay, we can talk about that.
All right.
So last thing, because I told everybody to hold off on HP.
Oh.
Last
Oh, yeah.
time, I gave everybody maximum
Yeah.
to make, as mostly to make everybody
Not die.
not die.
Fair.
So, I've got a proposition of Jakean proportions.
We don't want it.
No. Here's the thing.
Too late. You already bought it.
Yep. Now I haven't decided what the threshold should be for the number value.
Okay.
But a series of rolls as a group, you versus me in this scenario.
Okay.
And if I win,
Chicken ball.
Mhm.
whatever this number might be a combo number, or might not. Maybe I don't even roll anything. Maybe it's just like one of those like we did
Statics.
in Curse of Shroud, where it's like if you guys all roll
33?
whatever we decided it was,
33.
everybody rolls a d20 and beats a total of 33. If that happens and you don't make it, then everybody has to roll for health for level 3.
Ooh.
But if you guys win, you get maximum again.
I'm in. I like doing stuff like this.
What do you think, Pat?
I mean,
Fair.
Worth a shot at least once.
right, might as well try to get maximum.
All right, so what do we say it was 33?
33, but that was for 3 people.
So what do we want to say it is?
44?
40?
Why? Why are you doing this? You could have just said yes to 33.
That's
about
wrong.
It's not
35?
wrong. It's not wrong.
Internet, what number do you think?
35.
On 4d20.
35.
Between 4 people?
4
Yeah.
people, each with a d20. What is a reasonable number for them to hit
40?
and exceed?
41.
41.
Because that's everyone has to get at least a 10, except for one person has to get one higher.
Fair.
I'm in for 41.
41.
All right.
I'm okay with
70. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
That's
I
doable.
laughed.
Chat says 4. I'll be benevolent. I will say 41.
41.
So 4 d20, one from each of the players. Choose your d20 wisely.
Oh god, none of my
And if you guys exceed 41, you will get maximum hit point for 3rd level. This is the last time we will do this.
All right.
But if you don't make it, then everybody has to roll.
All right. I think that this has the potential to be good.
It's reasonable.
All right,
reasonable.
we're gonna end on a tense note here, folks. This was a fairly reasonable game with not a lot of pressure. Let's see how we do. All right, who wants first? Jake, 10.
10. See? Doing my part.
Sean,
6.
All right,
6.
16.
11.
11.
What do we get?
Not high enough.
Not high enough.
22, 32, 38.
I'm the one who dropped the ball.
Yeah.
What if I had done that? No. What if I had done that?
All right.
Shooting on OG.
7.
Jake got exactly what he wanted.
All right.
So that's Jake was no different.
Nope. I'll take an
So
extra
your
10
health is a D10, Pat.
2.
2. All right. So 2 plus your con mod.
Half.
What'd you get? 3.
Yeah.
5.
So
So
Sean,
half plus 1.
you guys got exactly what you would have rolled, and you were under. Pat lost the most. On
I
that
got
deal.
fucking.
But we got max health last time, so I feel like end of it, we're still ahead.
Yeah.
And Pat's about even instead.
Well, that's what I would have gotten if we did, because isn't it like you take half and
Half
then,
plus 1. So you'd be down 1 HP.
Alright, well,
Pat lost 4 HP on that.
that sucks.
That's good.
Oof.
So.
I might.
Ooh.
I might take tough at 4 for ease of leveling up, because then I will get 10 per level. But then I wouldn't bump up my. No, I'm not doing that. That was a dumb idea, Sean.
Okay.
Good
Because
talk.
right now I'm at 30, so if I took tough, then I get 10 every level, but then I wouldn't.
You would get that original 6.
What's that?
You would get 6 and then 10 every level, so you would get 36, 46. Right?
No.
Yeah.
He's saying he's at 30 now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's retroactive.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Good point, Jake.
I'm at 40 health right now.
Nice.
22.
You know what? For a rogue, I'm pretty beefy.
Yeah,
I'm
you're pretty
10 less
easy.
than you.
Yeah. You keeping up. That max health was big for everybody, I feel like.
Pat, where are you at health-wise?
31.
31?
Alright. Yeah, I'm pretty beefy for a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
What's your con?
17.
And yours is...
17.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
17.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And yours is...
11.
4. No.
4?
No, 14.
Oh, you're almost dead.
Jesus God.
Very amazing.
My con is 14.
You gain 0 HP per level.
I am emphysema.
I think the minimum you can
I'm
gain is
chronically ill.
Okay.
I have a chronic disease.
I got some chronic.
So, thank you again, Internet, for coming and checking out this episode of Evrand. We will be back in 2 weeks for the continuation of this campaign, Evil Campaign. Next Tuesday and next Monday is Princess of the Apocalypse. Come see what happens to a group of people that ritually split the party. I thought it was a good idea to split the party when the other half was asleep.
Ah.
Oh.
There's no way that'll end poorly.
Oh,
How to
it
kill
ended
your
poorly.
party.
Booyah.
And the half that was sleeping was trying to regain spell slots.
Oh, those are helpful.
The
in
wizard,
general.
who had 2 slots left before he went to sleep, and didn't get any of them back.
Oops.
So,
Well, that happens sometimes.
I guess. So,
Alright, well, good night, Internet. Thanks for
Yes.
stopping by.
We'll miss you.
Yeah. Until next week.
Jake specifically.
I will, at least.
I agreed.
It was half
I don't feel good.
hearted. I'm sorry you're not feeling good, man.
There, champ.
We got finished up right on time, though.
Yeah.
What time is it?